The last time on the wilds of Valandiir, after a long, hot, sweaty adventure in a dimension of fire and tribal gladiatorial crab slaying, the Crown Collectors finally have returned home to their estate, Stonehelm Keep, in the mountains of the Grasping Ridge just north of the lake town of Hystael. After a shower and a shave, the group changes into some more comfortable attire, clothes that aren't riddled with scorch and singe marks, and wander down to the dining hall to enjoy some hearty home-cooked food. And that is where we are going to pick up. Maven, we start with you.
Okie dokie.
Maven, you stroke your dragon mount's mane of bristly fur and scales on his white draconic neck. You stand now in the ancient abandoned lair of Mirstaviclas, long slain foe of the storm giant residents of Stonehelm Keep. The golden statue, erected in this dragon's honor, is a sight to behold, nearly 40 feet tall. Sundancer is intently focused as he stares up at the statue amidst the drips and drops of this cave's geology. You hear in your head, "Wow, he was big."
That he was, buddy. That he was. Do I know a whole lot about this? I don't think that I did know much about, like, the dragon, right?
Those of you who were able to, like, read the placards around the keep, and once you figured out how to solve the door on the behind the waterfall, you all kind of have come to understand that this mountain was the lair of a red dragon, and that a band of storm giants decided to slay this dragon and make Stonehelm Keep atop the lair's foundations. Okay. And not much was really known about the fact, other than the fact that its skeleton hangs above your entrance chamber in Stonehelm Keep. It's just seems like it's probably a famous dragon, perhaps. I mean, this was all done in the Second Age, so there's not a lot of literature about the Second Age. But that's about what you know. And this golden statue that these, presumably these giants erected in honor of this mighty foe. It's just beautiful. I'll say that your passive perception, you can tell that this isn't like real gold. It's almost like a protective brass.
Mm-hmm.
And Sundancer just kind of leans into you while keeping his eyes focused on this at the foot of this huge gold dragon. I hope one day I get that big.
I have no idea if you will, bud, but I hope so too. Make a really good big dragon.
Would you say, Corey?
I sincerely hope not, but that's just me. Because the feed bills will be unbelievable.
Go ahead and make an animal handling check.
Animal handling.
No, I gotta get into roll 20. What am I doing?
Solid 8.
Yeah. So you're kind of right next to his right under his chin, and like he does stand the height and size of like a large draft horse, but he's also kind of like spindly, like a gecko, and so he kind of like he's wiggling around. He's starting to get a little antsy. You can feel him sort of shiver a little bit. So he kind of turns towards the rear of the lair and kind of hits you with his rump a little bit, and you get knocked prone just for a second.
Oh, oof!
And Sundancer kind of he's like a puppy. He doesn't know his own strength. He bumps into stuff. And he kind of knocks you to the floor, and excitedly, Sundancer skips up the huge stone embankments, leading to the top back of his new dwelling. A fat place with a crown of rocks betrays the former occupant's nest. Sunny twirls around a few times slowly, his tail whipping like wind through a ribbon. You see him begin to nestle between the crown of rocks, and suddenly you see something happen. He closes his eyes as his belly scales begin to glow yellow and then orange. With the cave keeping a steady, comfortable, cool temperature, being underground, despite that it's very cold and wintry outside, it has that even cave temperature. And you start noticing a marked difference in the temperature of this room coming from where Sunny is. Nothing unbearable, but you can tell that the effect that Sunny is having on the rocks above that he's laying on, it's radiating heat. He appears to be slightly straining, this effect requiring effort from him in some way, but he just keeps nestling into the rock, rubbing his scales into the stone until they too begin to slowly smoke and glow like a low, dull red. And little tiny jets of fire break from cracks in the rock as buried steam escapes. And he simply looks through his squinting eye and gritted teeth. "This might take me a while, Mom. You go inside and get your evening food."
Okay, bud. I'll be back soon, okay?
Okay. So I need you to make a check, but I don't know exactly where to. It's a geology check as you're hopping down these steps. We'll say either history or survival, or nature too. Either one that would work too.
Okay, we'll go with probably history is going to be my best one. Oh, nice. 24.
24. As you hop down his lair steps, you notice something about the stone itself. It appears like dark glass, but not quite obsidian. It's like semi-translucent with a smoky darkness imbued within it. And you notice that Sundancer heats up the stones under him as they hold this temperature. And from this evidence, and also from your studies, because you've done some general geology homework at some point, you recognize this material as cinder glass. It's a rare kind of ore, but a deposit on this mountain would explain the original red dragon being attracted to this region. Cinderglass retains and reflects any heat applied to it almost magically. It seems a little brittle because as you skip down the steps, your foot kind of catches like the edge of a rock and it chips real easy. But yeah, it would have been a fitting lair, really, for any creature that craves heat. So, Sundancer seems well on his way to feeling at home here.
Very excited.
What would you like to do?
I'll just go upstairs, because it's dinner time.
Yep.
Start getting... Probably need to wash
on your
up
way
after
up.
being down there.
Yeah, it's not terribly filthy in the cave. It's been blasted by wind for years with no occupants here. So it's pretty windswept clean in here. It's not a filthy mess. It doesn't get terribly damp. There are a couple of places where the snow has melted through the rocks. But it's not terribly filthy in here. It's actually really nice. And the cave opens up to the grounds of Stonehelm Keep, which is just kind of like this steadily increasing incline on this hill that the keep is built on. And you pass by the guard tower first before Stonehelm Keep proper, and at that moment is when Baranor comes out.
Hello.
Hello.
Getting Sundancer acquainted with the cave.
Oh yeah, he seems to like it. I think it'll work out real well.
That's good. You can be an even further first warning for any visitors that come by.
I mean, maybe. Are you settling in out here?
I'm settling in pretty good. I've got my little spot up here. Luna's pretty comfortable around here, so.
Yeah. How is she doing?
She's doing good. She's doing good. She's healing well from her experiences in well, she didn't do much in the fire plane, but she had a little run-in with the creatures from the Feywild. So
That makes sense.
yeah.
We're walking and talking.
Yep.
Walking and talking. The entrance to the keep comes up to you quickly. There are no guards. You have not hired proper guards for your keep, but you do notice that the door is locked. All of you possess a skeleton key of sorts, and I do have to pass out like a key ring. Somebody's going to have possession of like a key ring. As there are rooms and things in the keep that require different locks, and it's not a lot. It's maybe 5 or 6 keys. So whoever wants to keep that,
I'll hold on to it.
yeah. And I'll just send you, Corey. I'll send you a short list of what that all unlocks, just for your own edification. If you ever wanted to get into a room and stuff, and I'm like, it's locked.
I have a key for that.
You have a key for that. So, yeah, and as the front doors swing open, Baranor and Maven, you watch as 2 housekeepers accidentally collide into each other. One was holding a armful of linens, and unfortunately the other one was holding a plate of dishes, and those dishes kind of go everywhere and break on the floor, about 10 feet from you.
What happened?
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I'll start helping pick everything up, make sure everybody's okay.
Yeah. So, it is about 6:30 in the evening right now. Everybody seems to be in rather comfortable clothing, except for Maven. You were tending to your dragon. But Kravish, you find yourself staring at yourself in the mirror of your vanity. You're in a fresh kind of like a smoking jacket attire, and your mandolin is sort of leaning up against your vanity. It seems like the whole house is starting to sort of put on their little finishing touches before dinner. You do have a guest. You've got a staff that are about to serve you. This is kind of new / not super new. You've kind of been in a fancy dinner like this before. What would you be like to be doing right now?
I'm just getting the finishing touches there on my clothing. Get my mandolin, put it on its hook there, and start making my way down for dinner.
Uh-huh. Well, it looks really, it smells really good. It definitely smells like a fattier meat being cooked. You can smell that savoriness on the air. And you see, as you make your way down to the dining hall, you see Yuno and Koza kind of coming from this big staircase at the back. They kind of start to join you from the opposite side of the dining hall into the dining room. You see, at this point, Maven and Kravish and Baranor, you all see Yuno and Koza.
Well met.
Well, this is an awesome change of pace from the past couple of days.
Indeed it is.
Yeah. Koza, you clean up pretty good.
Koza,
Sorry, I was muted.
don't be muted. We're on a roll.
Thank you, Kravish. I would.
Yeah, you clean up pretty good. Everybody.
We needed to clean up after that ordeal in that place.
We've needed to clean up for a while.
Mm-hmm. The only thing we don't need to clean up is our acting.
Mumbles under his breath a prestidigitation and draws a smiley face on Koza's back.
Oh my.
In what? Is it like drawn in mud?
Oh, it's like a kind of a neon green.
Cool.
What is
Right next to a little kick me sign.
It's buried in his fur.
Maven, how is Sundancer adjusting to the lair?
Oh, well.
Getting all comfy
there's-
cozy?
Oh, yeah. There's cinder glass. Am I remembering that properly?
Yep, that's
Yeah,
correct.
there's cinder glass down there, so you should be able to heat up and stay nice and warm.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't realize it was there until now, so.
That is a find. Maybe could help save on some of the fuel costs to heat in the winter around here.
Yeah.
Some radiant
It
floor
might.
tile here to heating.
Ooh.
Magic.
Ooh.
Magic radiant flooring.
A mind, imagine like a square tablet of like smoky glass. You just stand on it and it warms your toes. Oh my god.
Ugh.
That would be so cool.
It'd be great.
Also sounds like we have our own sauna now.
I mean, you could. Maven, you noticed that cinder glass is rather brittle, so it would not be hard to like carve like a bowl out of it because it seems to sort of permeate throughout almost the entire layer.
Okay.
It kind of stops as you start to go uphill towards the cave entrance, but it's a pretty big. It's a I don't know, like half of a pyramid butted up against the wall that rises up to his little nest, about the size of a house, maybe
Oh,
small
nice.
house.
What color was the dragon that resided here?
He
Red.
was depicted as a red dragon.
Oh, that would make sense then.
And you liked it?
Yep.
You liked it toasty.
Yeah.
Yep. So you guys kind of settle into your seats. I'm sort of curious on the seating arrangement, but I'll leave that up to your imagination. Kravish, I'm guessing that you either once or twice have sat at the head of this table, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, you see this man approach you. He's got kind of a bushy blonde and brown beard, curly mustache, bald head. He's got a little monocle, smart blue suit, and you recognize him as Clyde, your dwarven butler or major domo. And he
Okay.
approaches you with a smile on his face.
Good evening, Clyde.
Good evening, Master Kravish. How are we all today?
We are all doing very well and much more refreshed after the journeys of the previous day. What is on the menu?
Well, we've got a fine mutton lamb sauce and with a sprig of a vegetable medley. We have baked potatoes twice over. And if for those of you with a much more of a vegetarian palate, we have fresh greens from the neighboring elven villages of the Empire. Imported this last 2 weeks. I highly recommend those to be roasted.
Sounds great.
The chefs have put together quite a little shindig, knowing that you're all home after such a terribly long absence, right upon your acquiring of Stonehelm Keep. To wit, just a little bit of housekeeping business. Master Kravish, it's my job to inform you when news of the realm or the region reach these steps, and also to pass on your mail. So, you've acquired a bit of post in your absence. Would you like me to leave them here with you now?
Yes, you can leave them there, right over there on one of the little side tables there.
Okay, it's 2 scrolls and a really fancy envelope.
2 scrolls in a really fancy envelope. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Very good.
He puts them on a little side table that's actually kind of right next to you. It's meant for dropping off things like this. Well, you can smell kind of a waft of perfume sort of erupt from one of the packages next to you. Not sure who. It's very, very flowery.
Okay.
Pretty appealing.
Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you, Clyde. Is there any other news?
We have received a package for one of you, but it's rather large and heavy, so I won't burden you at the side of your table. Whenever you're comfortable to receive it, just ring the bell on the side of the hallway, and someone will bring it to you post-haste.
Very good. Any news of any update on our captive downstairs?
In the morrow, the sheriff of Hystael shall be retrieving the prisoner, a 190. You see him flip kind of like a flip book or like a notebook out of his his hand pocket on his jacket. Magnus, I believe, was his identity. He'll be taken down to Hystael for, I would suppose, processing for crimes of thievery and meted out the appropriate punishment. I'm sure if you wish to have words with the sheriff in the morrow, he'll be happy to speak with you.
As we were not present during any of his crimes, I don't know if that would be utterly necessary. I'm sure your testimony or any testimony from the house staff would be sufficient.
Of course, at your pleasure, sir. Will there be any requirements of a special nature to your evening meal, or can I go ahead and start the dinner proceedings?
Yes, you may go ahead and start dinner. I would ask, though, that at the last serving, if my mandolin could be brought from my quarters down here.
As you wish, master. I'll have them fetch it for you immediately and have it ready to be handed to you.
Thank you.
Most welcome, sir. And you see him clap his hands over his shoulder, and the staff, just kind of a couple of them, kind of prick their head up. They sort of speed along their little process as the kind of dinner atmosphere starts to increase. You can smell them starting to ready dishes. You hear them pulling lids off and steam erupting. It smells pretty good, and the hearth fire next to you is not raging, but definitely a roaring, warming fire. It's quite pleasant.
Very nice.
They're much more accustomed to this lifestyle than others.
I'm sure Yuno is quite accustomed to such procedures.
Axton probably.
Yeah, Axton. What was your upbringing like?
Yeah.
I lived a pretty quiet life for most of it. You have to remember this is like a few hundred years ago, so.
True.
Yeah. Maybe. I'm sure this is heaps different from your previous life in the monastery.
Oh, vastly. Incredibly different.
Yeah.
It's nice. It is nice,
It
though.
is. I mean, and we've learned it. I mean, we've been through some stuff, folks.
Oh, quite a bit. Quite a bit.
Yeah, the staff begins to pour the red and white wine at your discretion, those of you who wish to partake in drinking. It's a very aromatic rosé, kind of fills the nostrils with a real deep wine smell, and it smells very good. They also bring out a tray of cheeses, and it's not too long until main course is served. It's it's just about the best mutton you've ever had. Those of you who are fans of mutton, it's okay for mutton. It's not super fancy, but it's definitely not questionable as to its freshness. And the veggies are real good. They whip up a real tight little salad for those like maybe Maven wants a little more veggies in her food, and it's good. Your first bites are pretty intense as far as how long it's been since you've had quality cuisine.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Munch, munch, munch. Chew, chew, chew. Yum, yum, yum. Belch.
Yeah. A couple of you are eating a little ravenously, and couple chunks of meat kind of get stuck a little. There's not quite a choking hazard in the works, but it's hard not to shovel it down with how hungry you were and how tired you've been. And as you kind of all tuck into dinner and clean plate club all, you see the there's kind of a he's not a butler. He's definitely just kind of like a house staff errand boy, something like that. He just sort of slowly sidles up next to Kravish and kind of gives you a nod, and he says, Master Kravish, would you be requiring your mandolin at this moment?
Yeah, actually, yes. If you could go ahead and bring that on, that'd be great.
Of course. And 5 seconds later, he kind of approaches you gingerly and hands out the neck of the mandolin.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Of course. It's about this time that Captain Tolliver, because he's here, he kind of perks his head up and he goes, forgive my silence. The food was just absolutely delectable. So, Master Kravish, you going to regale us with a little bit of song and dance? Is that why you bring that out now?
You know, a little bit of winding down.
Well, I gotta...
Just to help pass the time as we let our food digest.
Well, I gotta tell you, it's been a long time since I've had roasted mutton like this. I've got quite a spread here, you know. Quite a lucky fella to have such ostentatious surroundings to call his own. I wasn't quite as resplendent in my dwellings growing up, but we had our fair share of pleasantries along the way.
Yes, this is nice. It's the product of a lot of hard work and a lot of hard times.
Too right, mate. Well, it's tough to claim to be really blue collar when you come from such generational wealth as I do, but Margalita's been a quite the strenuous city to grow up in if you want to make a name for yourself. But I think I've done that. I may come from rich beginnings, but I like to live light, travel the world, hunting interesting monsters along the way. That's what I call a good time, and that's what I've done. What about you, Kravish? What brought you to the shores of this place and wrapped up in this whole adventure you find yourself in?
Oh, gee, I don't know if I really want to spend the whole time just talking about myself, tuning mandolin.
But
since you asked, I come from the land of the ice and snow. My village comes up in the Frosted Bluffs. My village.
Right. Okay.
Yes, I come from a village named Uth-Dracorn, which in Draconic means silver cradle. Legend has it that my village was actually where the silver dragonborn came into being.
Oh, I see.
We're slightly out of the reach of the Empire, and for obvious security reasons, I can't tell you exactly where it is, but it's in the low to mid mountain range of the
all right.
of the bluffs.
Fascinating.
Yeah,
And you're all silver dragons?
My clan is, yes, we're all silver dragons.
Fascinating. Not too often you see an entire clan of the same race and breed, as you call it. But that's quite the yarn. Tell me, what does your family do?
Well, I may not have come from much wealth, but I've come from a wealth of experiences, shall we say. My father, Argentorolf Malchior, he was also a traveler, a storyteller, a traveling minstrel in his youth.
Your father, an adventuring traveler, you don't say. Didn't see that coming.
Yes, and then my mother, Argentorolf Hystael, well, one of my... she was the child of one of the more well-to-do fur merchants in town. Yes, my dad was an adventure traveler to begin with. Now, he's kind of retired and kind of spends more time with his antiquities business that he and my mom run.
Antiquities? You don't say. So, kind of an acquirer of interesting artifacts.
Of lore, of history, yes. Which, as you can probably surmise, is been more challenging of late with more imperial controls.
Well, yes, probably. I could understand that. I do my best to stay out of the local politics of the Empire. Rather spend my free time hunting monsters in the wilds.
Yeah.
Coughs slightly.
And I give him a deferential nod.
And Bernard also coughs.
You cough. Should I make you roll an insight check?
No.
Make a strength
check.
check.
How's Yuno faring over there with his mutton? Is Yuno a mutton fan?
Yuno's not really a mutton fan. It's a little bit lowbrow taste-wise,
Yeah.
but a quick prestidigitation makes it taste like filet mignon, so
Ooh.
goodbye.
That would be a pretty cool magic item. Just a wand of making things taste better.
Dust of deliciousness.
Right? Yeah, but that stuff's
There you go.
expensive.
It's called my hands.
Yeah.
Prestidigitation. Boom. Everything's filet mignon.
Yeah.
Even the potatoes. It just blankets the whole dining room table in filet mignon taste. Even the candles and the napkins.
The cheesecake.
Cannon.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm actually the eldest in my clutch. I have a younger brother, 2 younger sisters.
Really? And what do they do for a living? Are they outward bound adventurers like you? Like their old man?
No. My brother Ruthgar, he's part of the town military, the town militia. He's actually, well, he thinks himself, General Huma, but he has some responsibility. Not as much as he thinks he does, but...
Or as much as he tells you?
And my sisters, they've married well, and they're raising their families.
Oh, sounds like a perfectly pleasant life in the mountains or the clouds. It's a little I'm a little fuzzy on the details, but that's all right. Sounds like it's a bit of an important secret to keep, which I understand.
Yeah. But yeah, no, life was pretty good. My dad was often away when he would have work. I remember being younger and Dad being gone for stretches, but he would come back with some amazing tales of some of the places he saw and the people he met. I even went with him on a couple of small trips. It was really... That's what kind of... when the bug bit me to go out and see the world.
Well, that's just beautiful, mate.
Yeah.
I wish my life was as inviting once I return to my home as yours is. Got a bit of a argument with the old man back before he passed away, and haven't really spoken of him or to any of those of us that are still back home in quite a while. Spent my time sort of keeping on the road and acquiring trophies. You see him kind of perk up his right shoulder where that young red dragon's kind of skull is sort of resting on it.
Yes.
You see him kind of swirl his tankard of wine in his hand, and kind of you see his gaze sort of rise up to where Axton is sitting. And Axton, you kind of feel the room grow a little quiet as Captain Tolliver kind of rests his look over to you. So, you're a bloom of Marguerite.
That I am.
And you said something about you being, frozen or tucked away for the past 100 or so odd years?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, hell, mate, what was that like?
Well, I more or less was just exploring and found myself into like I guess it was a wizard's tower. Anyway, I ended up getting captured by these, automaton thing. And then the next time I woke up, it was like a few hundred years later.
Wow. And what'd you do after that?
Well, I've been sticking around here with the crown collectors since then.
Oh, so they what? They found you and woke you up?
Pretty much, yeah.
That's quite a story, mate. And what about your family back home?
Well, most of my family, from what I know of, is passed, but I think I have some great nephews around. Goromir Bloom. He's running like
Right.
some sort of guild or I don't know.
Some sort of guild. You're talking about the Bloom Corporation. I mean, one of the most successful mercenary distribution networks in the entire realm.
Yeah,
And you're telling me that you're related to them, mate?
Yeah.
Wow. How'd Gormir take it? I imagine he wasn't too happy to know you were kicking around, eh?
Oh, pretty much. He thought I was going to take everything from him.
So would I. I'd probably try to kill you.
And he has tried a couple of times, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he did.
He tried.
Right, well, seems that that family's fighting style and skill and technique probably runs back quite a few generations based on your ability, eh? I've seen you in battle.
I'm not sure, to be honest. I just remember being a farmer growing up. I don't really know much about what my family did in the past, but I guess it seems like we've taken to arms and since I was asleep.
Well, he kind of furrows his brow. I'm going to have him actually make a roll here. 21, not bad. He kind of leans back in his chair, resting his fingertips against his, his elbows on his chair, and he just kind of leans back and he says, "Well, I don't know really too much, but from what I've heard, the Blooms, well, they did start from humble beginnings. Kind of tended their own land, and apparently somewhere along the line, somebody attacked the family farmstead. And those forces were put down quite quickly, but not before destroying most of the town that they were invading. Not much is known about it after that. They moved mostly to Marguerite and established a base of operations and started finding out ways to learn the art of warfare. Taught themselves, had great weapons masters brought in, and after a while, few decades, few new generations, the Bloom Corporation makes the best killers in the kingdom.
From what we've seen, they need a little work.
Maybe it's just they haven't met you yet.
True, maybe. Maybe I should visit some of my family or take a look into the corporation. I have kind of been staying away. I don't want to encroach on their territory.
Well, yes, the Blooms can definitely be a bit of a litigious family.
All right, well, since we're reminiscing about past events, I'm going to take a moment here to look at current events. Let's see what we got here in the mail.
All right. Give me 1 second, please.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'll also signal
what-
for house staff to bring up that package that was mentioned, that Clyde mentioned before.
Yep. So you've got, like I said, you have 2 scrolls and a very fancy black. It's almost like made of silk. The envelope, black silk envelope.
Mhm.
And it's up to you which ones you want to go for first.
Are any of them addressed to any one person in particular?
No. What you see is they're all kind of wrapped in twine together with a tag made of like copper almost. And it's stamped with the imperial seal, with kind of like a little mark underneath it that kind of looks like a scroll in the wind. Those of you with imperial knowledge, definitely and Kravish probably. It's the Imperial Parcel Service, and you know that it's not. You don't necessarily have to address something to somebody. You pay the service to deliver it to that residence for you.
Okay.
Yep. So what would you like first?
Well, I'll hand the black silk envelope, as that looks like that's kind of his speed.
All right.
I will let Axton have the 1 scroll, and I'll take the one that's perfumed.
The envelope is perfumed.
Oh, the envelope is perfumed. Okay, well, I'll let Axton take a scroll, I'll take another scroll, and he'll still get the black, and still gets the black silk envelope.
All right. You open the envelope, and it bears the seal on the back of the Hargroves.
All right, I'll read the letter.
Okay. Do you want to read it, or do you want me to read it?
You can read it.
Okay. It's 2 pages. It's not terribly long, I promise. I'll put it in the chat and read along with it, because it is in a bit of a script. It is written well. The lines are straight. It's very high quality paper. The paper itself has a pleasing aroma. And there's the first page. Dearest friends, Sir Thorsten, head of House Hargrove here. Greetings. It's with good tidings and high hopes this missive finds you all in good spirits and good health. House Hargrove has seen some changes since your departure from Dane, and being that you were instrumental in seeing the rot of the Blackwing excised from our house and city, you deserve to relish in the news of our family. My father, Sir Ulysses Hargrove, at 78 years, has peacefully passed on to the realm of the Platinum Dragon. In his sleep, he went and left behind a legacy of honor and glory as a faithful servant to the Empire. Sad, yes, to lose one so loved by all, but it was not without a silver lining. Just 2 days later, my wife, Penelope, gave birth to our second child, a girl. We named her Annabelle after her grandmother. She is a joy to behold. You must visit and meet her. Reese has been an absolute tremendous help in days of late. He is proving a truly brave and protective older brother. Yesterday, while enjoying the garden, he slew a beetle he deemed too close to his sister for his liking. And it goes on. Let me get this. Boop. Alright, hold on. I took the big one. I don't want the big one. Here we go. It'll be smaller. Oh, it is just going to take a long time. Oh well. I am holding up well, despite my injury at the Ellington Classic. Thanks to a fair bit of help from Sir Giovanni Corvino, as well as the palace healers. I wish the same could be said for my brother. Luther suffers with his bowels. Suffers within the bowels of the dungeon.
He suffers with his bowels.
That's
He
a
probably
very
does.
different note. Different note of news.
Different problem.
Yeah.
Not anything as pedestrian as physical pain, but his heart breaks daily for his part in all of this. Lady Kethra Shekis certainly churned his soul and broke his spirit. I visit him as often as I can, read him news of the family, the realm, but it is clear none of it is enough to truly lift his spirits. I wonder if he will ever forgive himself. Well, I suppose I should go help Darling with Reese and the wee one. Wishing you all good new year and glory in your travels. Signed, Sir Thorsten, head of House Hargrove, Knight of Dane.
Oh, well, certainly some mixed news there from them. We need to pin them a reply and let them know what's been going on. Okay.
Okay.
Axton, you go ahead.
Yep, you have this. If you'd like to read that if you wish. Oh man, these are so big. They're so, I don't know why there's such huge files. It's coming.
Oh god, I don't even know if I can read that. Okay. Interesting. Dear Crown Collectors, this is Bartok, owner of the Rusty Collector's Cup. Things are good here. Rathburn has been very good since you've killed the Dragon Lady. The land is healing, and people are coming here to visit or live. A lot of people, they come to the bar to hear about the adventures that killed a dragon. We have made good money. I sent you some of that as a thank you for helping to make Rathburn better. Come back soon. I always leave a tankard of ale out for you at the end of the bar. No one touches it, or I'll hit them with my axe. Hope you guys are well. Bartok. And some coins from Black.
Yeah, I mean it's not a lot. It's a pouch of 20. It's 25 gold and 15 silver. But you definitely get the feeling that that's a lot to him.
Yeah. I think we can go ahead and put that in the party fund.
Yep, 25 gold, 15 silver. And Kravish, you clutch a really ratty looking, it's not even parchment, it's like hide.
Okay.
That's been kind of like tanned and it's tattered and ratty. And I'm going to guess that nobody speaks Grung.
Nope.
So this is what you see.
Oh boy.
Now, I don't know if tongues enables me to read.
Yeah, I think
believe
it's
it
one of the
does.
spoken languages.
That would be comprehend languages.
Oh, yeah.
Comprehend
Yeah.
language. I'll have that. Well,
Kravish, you definitely recognize the little handprint on the left. It looks almost identical to the one that you had embroidered on your green outfit on the shoulder.
Does our butler perhaps speak Grung?
Why would
Would you like to ask him?
Why wouldn't he? Yeah.
He does not. He sadly admits that he is not well versed in the languages of amphibian savages, but he definitely offers that he can have it translated for you if you wish.
yeah. Do you have magical means to be able to interpret this?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Drat.
I guess we'll have to get a translation of it then.
Yep. Clyde
I'm
is
just
going
amazed.
to definitely offer to have that done for you within a day or two.
I'm just amazed they got it to the post office.
I'll roll it up and put it back in its little sash or however it was bound, and I hand it off to them.
Okay.
And now we got this package.
Well, just as Axton is kind of fumbling with Bartok's note, there's something kind of, because it's in like a rolled up scroll, and the corner of the scroll was kind of rolled up tight. And as you kind of fumble with it, you notice that there's something rolled up in the edge of the scroll. It's a small wooden dowel. And it just sort of drops on the table. And Axton, you notice that there's like a very, very hard to see, but you're pretty perceptive, hard to see seam at the top, almost like the wooden dowel has like a cap. And there are two symbols carved into the bottom of it. One is a fleur-de-lis, and the other one is an eye.
What do you guys make of this? Because I have no idea.
What do we make of it?
Do I know what it means?
Oh yeah, no, it's very common thieves' cant. It's a dowel belonging to the syndicate, and the eyeball denotes that it's for syndicate eyes only.
Okay. I'll motion for it to come over here.
All right, you open the scroll. Well, actually, no, you don't. I need a.
Oh boy!
I take it away. I need a. You can either give me a perception check or some kind of investigation check, whichever is better for you.
Guidance.
Guidance, indeed.
I'm gonna need it. Okay. Guidance. Okay.
D4.
Yep. I know. And then I'll do my psychic knack as well. Oh my god. That's a total of 17.
17. Okay. Yeah. It's you notice that the cap on it does not just slide out. It doesn't. It looks like it turns about an eighth of a turn counterclockwise, but doesn't come out either. And you realize that this cap is locked. That this has some kind of locking device, or it's carved in a notched way that it requires a little bit of know-how to get it apart. So you can give me a sleight of hand check.
Sleight of hand.
See how you do.
I will also guidance myself for that. Oh, that's much better. Okay.
Damn.
Yeah. Damn. 30.
Dirty 30. The best kind of 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, not even an issue. You have been trained on how to open these little capsules for the past couple years. And you've kind of gotten pretty good at it since you've been with the CC. You haven't really had to open these up really hardly at all. But it's muscle memory to you, and it's interesting, you spin it counterclockwise a little, you apply some pressure, you spin it the other way, you pull it out about a quarter of an inch, and you can see like notches in it where there's like a track. So it requires, it's like a puzzle, one of those wooden little puzzle toys where you have to back it out and turn it and push it back in and spin it around. And eventually the top comes off, and there's a small scroll of paper inside. Your half-elf senses detect some kind of a perfume that's different from the Hargrove letter. And that's when you get this.
All right.
You do know what this says. This is a thieves' cant that is sort of a local flavor that's kind of just for the syndicate. It's like a developed sort of offshoot thieves' cant. You do know what it says. The question remains, are you going to read it out loud, or do you want me to send you the translation privately?
I'll read it to myself first.
Okay.
And then I'll decide.
All right. I'm going to send it to you then.
All right. Oh, God. Talk amongst yourselves.
Radical reconstruction was neither reconstructive nor radical. Discuss.
I love that. I love that bit.
Man,
it's
button.
snowing.
Oh, good.
Snowing outside.
Oh, yeah. Oh, how about that sports team?
Go sports.
Sport ball.
Go sports team.
They really moved the sport ball, didn't they?
They did sports volley things.
They got a touchdown and scored a goal basket.
Yeah.
Are we gonna go shopping at some point?
Do we need to go shopping for anything?
I don't have any idea.
I have a whole mass of copper to spend.
Oh yeah.
man, that
Oh,
lasted
by
a
the
while
way,
at the pub.
I totally screwed up on the math. I'm so sorry. It's not 2.5 gold. It would have. Let's see. You won 2,500. That would have been 25 gold. So
Yeah.
I apologize for getting that wrong.
That's okay.
Basically, guys, it's a letter from the Marquis. He's wishing us well. Business is booming. He's settling in quite well into Rathburn. Talks about the bar. The bar is a great front for the chapter, and wishes us congrats and hopes to hear from us at some point.
Okay.
Baranor.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a deception check.
Yeah. Okay.
And all of you can go ahead and make an insight check.
Wow, this is not going to be good.
Oh boy.
For you.
No, for me, in a whopping 11.
27. I rolled in that 20.
We all know you bullshitting.
Yeah, I don't think I have to say a thing.
No.
I'll say that. Let's see, who got the highest? Who got the highest?
Me.
Koza definitely got very
Maven.
good. Maven did really good.
I got 23.
23, and Maven, I don't see yours. What did you get? Sorry.
27. Sorry, I haven't figured out how to do the thing
Well-
appropriately yet.
That's okay. You can type it in the chat like Yuno does. That's fine
I
too.
can do that.
Yeah, so Maven and Kravish and Koza, you get the sense that what he said is true, but he's definitely leaving something out. Not sure what it is. He's not hiding it very well. Not sure if he's trying to hide it or if he's just bad at it.
Yeah. That's great, Barry. Oh, now what else did he say?
He did say if we traveled, what was it? If you traveled east, to come see him. And if you traveled west, he has a contact we could probably go to check out.
Okay.
I get the sense that he's being circumspect on purpose because there's somebody there that's not part of our inner circle.
Oh, that's a good question. Well, she would know that, Baranor. You go ahead and answer that.
I'm confused by the question.
She wants to
Okay,
know if you're
do
hiding
I-
it from Captain. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I was just literally just going to say the same thing. Do I think that you're deliberately leaving out something because you're hiding it from our guest?
No.
Okay. So you're just leaving something out on purpose.
Yes.
Side-eye.
Oh, you take 1 point of
You-
psychic damage.
I'm going to stare
Ultimate death
deeply into your soul, and I'm going to try to convey that I will be talking to you about this later, because I don't like being lied to.
We're all giving you this really look.
Koza doesn't give you like a death glare. He just looks like a disappointed parent.
No.
That's
I didn't-
disappointed.
Oh no!
Out of character again. I'm not lying.
You're not telling the whole truth. It's still lying. How many times do we have to go over this? At least one more time. Got it.
All right. It's like, really, man. Don't bullshit a bullshitter here.
Never shit a shitter.
Yeah.
So after after Baranor kind of wraps up the note and pops it back in the tube, You kind of glance at him. I'm guessing you're going to kind of seal it back up in its little puzzle way. The young staff member who you spoke to, Kravish, approaches with something large, about maybe 3 feet wide, 4 feet tall, flat. It's behind. It looks like it's covered up by some kind of a brown sheet, and it's kind of wrapped with a rope. And you see them they bring in what looks like from another room. Someone kind of runs in with what looks like an easel, and they just sort of lean this thing back against it. And they first hand you a little note. It is from the Imperial Parcel Service. I'll read it, but I'll put it in the chat. It's quick. There we go. As per delivery instructions, after installation of this mirror is complete, kindly utter the phrase, Tolo Neen House Argenturoth. Many thanks and kind regards. Sincerely, the Imperial Parcel Service. And what you see is, as they pull the sheet down off of it, you see a beautiful brass or gold, definitely not gold, mirror. It's an oval-shaped mirror with this kind of brassy, bronzy, filigreed design, real fancy schmancy all over it. And they lean it up against this easel, hand you the note, and bow and take their leave.
Okay. Do I know what that phrase means? What Tolonin means?
It's Elvish. If anybody speaks Elvish.
That would be me.
That would be
ill.
That would be most of us.
I would hope. I would think that.
I don't think I do. Hang on.
I'm like,
Yeah, no,
I do.
speak
Maven
common and
does.
giant.
Axton does. I'm sure could learn
All right.
if he doesn't already.
It's an Elvish phrase that basically it's made to be used in magical communication. That basically means like "come to me" or "meet me here," Tolonin. And House Argenturoth is your house, your family.
Okay. It's a calling. It's a calling card to my family.
To your family?
Yeah, that's his surname.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Sorry, I wasn't tracking. Yeah, okay.
Your servant kind of leans over the back of the mirror and says, would you like me to leave it with you tonight, sir, here, or would you prefer we install it for you in a more permanent place?
If you could please install it in my room, I would appreciate that.
At once, sir. And they are going to take it away.
Should we be concerned?
No, it's just,
Somebody post that envelope from Harry Potter yelling at somebody.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can beat Baranor.
Somebody do it right now.
I was over here looking for the
mood my mom's gonna be in.
I win.
There it is.
Damn it.
Yeah.
It's called a
Or if it's my
howler.
brother,
Oof.
he can be a little rough around the edges.
Brothers generally are.
Yes, they are. Well, your night begins to wind down. You guys toddled down here about 6:30, and spent a good hour and a half. So it's not quite bedtime, but you guys are definitely feeling creaky and sore. You guys did get home today, this morning.
Yeah.
And
So
yep, go
Captain
ahead.
Tolliver, how will we be graced with your company?
What was the first part of what you said? I'm sorry, bud.
I said, Captain Tolliver, how long will you be gracing us with your company?
Oh, well, I'm not one to impose. I've got places to be, people to see, and monsters to slay. But if it's no bother to you, I'd like to depart in the morning and partake of your hospitality until the morrow, if that's all right.
That's perfectly fine. We have some guest quarters. We have some guest quarters that you are more than welcome to partake of.
I can't wait. I appreciate it.
Yep. So we'll make sure Clyde is aware so that the house staff can get the guest quarters available for Captain Tolliver.
Okay. Clyde is going to kind of lean down and whisper into your ear, not in a real secretive way, but he's just going to kind of whisper to you, just so you're aware, sir, we always keep the guest quarters fresh and ready for anybody that you'd like to have over. It's definitely going to impress the peasantry, although it's not as well-to-do as many other parts of the mansion. But yeah, they're going to set him up, and he'll be just fine. Okay. And as Clyde begins to toddle away, he turns back and says, one more thing, sir.
Yeah.
We were given a missive a couple of weeks ago during our restoration of the keep, and it was an invitation from the mayor of Hystael to the residents of Stonehelm Keep that, as at their earliest convenience, he would be most appreciative to share a glass of wine or a mug of coffee at his estate in Hystael.
Okay, very good.
I guess we should meet the neighbors at some point.
Yeah, we gotta meet the neighbors.
We probably gotta pay taxes.
Nah.
Yeah.
Fantasy taxes, where we escape from reality.
Send out a
We don't do that here.
That we'll meet him. We'll be happy to meet with him the following day.
Right away, sir. I'll make sure the mayor's office receives your missive. If there will be anything else before we clear the service.
No, I believe that should be all. We're all going to be retiring to our rooms.
Very good, sir. Well, please do ring your respective room bells if you have need of any particulars in your rooms. I will begin the clearing service. Until I see you again, sir, have a good evening. All of you, masters, have a good night.
Good night to you, too. Thanks.
And the house staff, they're just going to start clearing the dishes and taking them away. And, yeah, it's the early evening. What would you guys like to do?
I'm going to call my mom.
I'll flag down a maiden.
So much trouble.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to flag down a maiden and be like, can you get a bath ready for me, please? Thank you.
Of course, my lady. The bath is, it's a magical tub that always keeps steamy water. All you have to do is grab a towel and any bathing materials you may need from the shelf of supplies, and it'll be ready for you as soon as you like.
Perfect. I'm going to be in there for about 2.5 hours.
Okay.
You'll be there in 2.5 hours, or you're going to be in there for 2.5 hours?
I'm going to be relaxing for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, big time. All right. Kravish, you get to your room. You climb the stairs up to your tower, to your abode. It is a swanky, well-furnished, soft, silky smooth, perfumed paradise. You notice that in your room, and you guys haven't really spent any time here after it was like fully moved in and furnished and cleaned and updated and decorated. So, aside from kind of dipping in there to change real quick, this is your first chance to kind of really soak in your surroundings. All of you. In Krish, real quick, you notice that your bookshelves are resplendent with tomes of adventure and glory and romance and tragedy and comedy and not a whole lot of informational books like geography or history too much. You like history as long as there's a point to it, is how you feel, and that's kind of the aesthetic of your library. But it is the wall nearest to your two double wardrobe armoires, where you see that they have actually hung this mirror from a chain that is then straddled between two large mounting nails on the wall at kind of about 10 feet up. So this thing is kind of dangling from between this chain, rather low but equal in height with you. And it's just giving your reflection, and it's beautiful. It's well made, and the metal itself looks like it can't sit in complete darkness. Like there's this very, very dim glow emitting from the metal. If there was a light shine on it, it would drown it out. But in darker, shadowy areas, it definitely has this very low glow to it.
Nice. All right. Well, let us see who is on the other end.
Okay.
Kolonin, House Argenturoth.
All right. You see the glass start to vibrate and very quickly, with a flash of almost blue flame around the rim. You see it kind of splash like at the surface of water. And hold on, not there. No, it doesn't explode. No, for a brief moment, you see the surface of this mirror undulate and then clear, and that blue flame recedes, so it's just licking the edges. And you just see this great big yellow draconic eye encapsulating the entire mirror, staring down at you. And you hear, "Is this thing on? Hello? I can't see him. Honey, come on over here."
Yep,
And
Mom, I'm here. I'm here, Mom.
And you hear your father's voice. He looks like he's staring right at you. He backs up, and the two of them now crown and fill the frame of this mirror. And what you see is this.
Aww. Your parents
They're
look
so
wonderful,
cute.
Kavish.
You see Malchior, and you see Havalar.
Mm-hmm.
You see Malchior and Havalar, both of them, backing up, smiling ear to ear as they look through the mirror at you. You can hear them clear as day. There's no weird tune to their voice. It's as if they're standing looking at you through a window.
Yeah.
Well, hell. Look who it is. Mr. Fancy Pants Traveler. And your father has this ear-to-ear grin as he's waving at you. Can you hear me through this thing?
Just as if you were right next to me, Dad.
And you hear your mother. She's kind of she's waving and putting her hand down. She has a beaming grin on her face, and she just says, "Well, don't you just look so good, Kravish? How you holding up, honey?"
Oh, we're doing just fine. We just got back from another adventure, and we're just taking a break, catching our breath, trying to figure out what next bit of trouble we're going to get into.
Next bit of trouble. Can you do yourself a favor and your mother too, and stay out of trouble for at least a week? I mean, my goodness, the stories that I'm hearing from the people that are reporting on your doings and your comings and your goings. I mean, the crown collectors, they're single-handedly killing a dragon in some swamp. I mean, goodness gracious! And now you're sitting here in your own giant castle up in the mountains. I mean, what has my son become?
Well, it's not exactly mine. When we do share the responsibility with the rest of the guys, but yeah, I live in a pretty nice castle. Yeah.
And you hear your dad kind of kind of look. It almost looks like he's trying to like stick his head through the window into your room to look around, and he just goes, "Boy, oh boy, Kravesh, I gotta tell you, your place you're living in. I'm guessing this is your room. Looks pretty nice. It's good to see you kind of adopting some of that good old Argenturith flavor and bringing it with you."
Well, you know, you can take the Argenturith out of the mountains, but you can't take the mountains. Yeah, you always said that one better than me, Dad.
Well, I just wanted to let you know that business is pretty good here at home, and this here mirror that we're sending to you, it's pretty neat. It's basically a standard magic mirror. I won it at an auction when I was trying to get rid of. You remember that old Vician family heirloom estate lot that I acquired about 2 or 3 years ago, and just couldn't really do anything to move it?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, well, we found a buyer, and well, he's going to enjoy his knickknacks from that old ancient family, and he offered to trade me for some gold and this mirror, and well, I decided to take it. Sat in our place for a few weeks, but hell, I hear that Kravesh and his buddies got themselves a big old castle up there in Hystael. So I thought, what's a big magical castle without a big magical mirror? So I thought I'd send it to you.
Well, thanks. So, what are you looking through to talk to me? I got this nice big fancy mirror. What do you got?
Well, whenever you use the magic mirror, and you say the magic phrase, well, it sends this big like sphere of lightning and magical light towards whoever it is, and if they feel amenable, well, they'll touch the orb, and boom, there's an image of whoever's looking through the mirror at it.
So, what are you looking at through right now? Are you looking through like a hand mirror, or am I just like floating disembodied in the air in front of you?
Well, it's kind of like there's a circle or a portal in the middle of the wall here, and we're just kind of looking at you through it.
Oh, okay, then. Got it. Cool.
Pretty neat, eh?
Yeah. So, how are the Sibs?
Oh, well, you know, your brothers and sisters are up to their shenanigans, of course. You know, you've got really leave it to your siblings to kind of take on the Argenturith name, so to speak, at least a couple of them. But yeah, it's they're doing all right. Your sister's enjoying her married life, you know, where she met that professor, and well, they're doing okay. It looks like they may be thinking about maybe having kids soon. Your brothers are good too.
Oh, well, good. Well, I hope to actually come up and visit you guys soon.
Well, that would be really great. As a matter of fact, we're going to be taking a trip here in a couple of months. We've got a plan to delve into an old kind of sinking ruin down there in southern Valandiir, and you know, if you happen to be around, maybe we'll meet up and have ourselves a little visit.
That would be great. What part of southern Valandiir do you know yet?
Oh yeah, and he looks like he's just gonna flip through a ledger that he's got on a desk behind him, and he's going to show you. And you know what? I'm just gonna put this in the chat because it's high time that there was a updated map. And he's just gonna kind of point. His is kind of ratty and sepia toned, but this one is a little more complete. Oh, he doesn't like that picture. Hold on. Okay. Anyway, he's gonna say that he's gonna be somewhere in the vicinity of Gelderwen by the Ruby Delta, which you will recognize once I get this in there. It's about, I would say that Margalit, Dane, and Gelderwen make kind of a triangle, equidistant from each other.
Yeah, you will be kind of around our stomping grounds.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, you just let me know when you guys make your way down there. I'll be do my best to come see you.
Well, that'd be wonderful, Kravish. And you see your dad kind of give your mom a little squish. Say, "Well, I gotta go empty out part of the storehouse before we close up shop tonight. But we just wanted to make sure that you were doing okay, and that you're being well fed. It looks like you definitely are eating enough. Your mom will be." Your mom and your grandmother and all your other female relatives will be so happy to hear that. But keep us in your thoughts, Kravish. Your mom wants to have a word with you, but just, I love you, and I want you to know that we're thinking of you and hoping that you're doing okay.
All right, well, thanks, Dad. Appreciate it.
And he kind of gives your mom a little peck on the cheek and gives you a wink through the mirror, and he kind of toddles off, and your mom just kind of gives him a smile and then gives you a death stare. Arjun Turoth Kravish, don't you mom me. I heard what happened to you. I heard that you died. I heard that you were dead. And that you went on into some crazy adventure after you got brought back to life in some mysterious way that I don't even understand how that works. And then you went and fought the creature that killed you and fought all her weird minions and all that stuff. Is that true?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Well,
it's all true.
Well, I don't know what to say. I don't want you going on some crazy, dangerous adventures like that again. Do you understand me?
Well, I lived.
Yeah, you lived. I'm sure you lived, and only just. And from what the stories that I'm hearing about this dragon that you slayed, I mean, is that the type of adventuring that you had in mind when you left home?
Well, no, but I mean, is it ever? I mean, did Dad ever knew what he was getting into?
Your father is not what we're talking about here, Arjun Turoth Kravish. And don't you sass me.
Yes, ma'am.
Now listen, I understand that you want to go on out there and be a big hero and write your epic story and all that, and that's all fine and dandy. But you do your best not to find yourself belly up again. You hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
I want grandbabies, and I'm not going to get grandbabies from my oldest from his clutch unless, you're around to have them.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. It's really good to see you, honey. I'm really glad that you're doing so well. You know how I worry.
Yes, we know.
All right, honey. Well, you have yourself a good night, and do try and look us up once we're down in the southern part of Valandiir. It'd be nice to give you a hug in person. You know what I'm saying, sweetheart?
Sure. Yeah. I'd like to give you a big hug too, Mom.
All right, honey. It was good to see you, and I'm glad you're having fun with your friends.
Yes, ma'am. It's good to see you too.
All right. Good night, sweetheart.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Okay.
Do you touch the mirror?
Yes.
Yeah, as you touch the mirror, kind of like in the Matrix, you touch it with your finger, and a little drip or slimy drop sort of sticks to your hand temporarily, and then kind of you pull your hand back, and it twangs back and reverberates, and all of a sudden that image of your mother just kind of fades as it splashes and settles into just a regular mirror again. Because you used it, I'm just going to give you the item card. Just to give you... I mean, it's basically exactly what I told you it did, so... Let's just...
Oh, jeez.
Give
me a black dragon over my... a black dragon over my mom in a mood any day. Okay.
All right. It is nearing the magic hour, whether you decide to go to bed or not. Maven, about this time, you're kind of deep in the first hour of your hot tub soak.
I like full on like a mud mask, just relaxing.
Yeah, it's a nice sized hot tub. It's about a good 10 feet wide. It's just a circular tub built into the stone floor. It definitely looks like newer construction. You guys did not pay for this to be here. It looks like something like this was already here. I know my first map was real crude about what's on each of these floors, but yeah, this was kind of here. The commode, I don't know if anybody's looking at the map of your keep, but the commode was kind of there, although certain hardware got replaced and things like that. So yeah, this is a pretty interesting kind of luxury item, although it is functional. You do have kind of powders and chemicals and salves and lotions on the shelf in here, kind of a little supply cabinet, tons of towels, and looks like there's a little bucket where there's leaves that you can use as sort of a face mask as well.
Oh yeah, full spa experience day, night,
all right.
Evening.
Yeah, in the bottom of your first hour, the heat of the pool you would assume to be kind of an unwelcome feeling, as you were looking to kind of cool off after being in the fire plane for a whole month. But this is nice, and you can feel that the water is treated with some kind of salt, and maybe there's pumice floating around in it, because it just feels like it's exfoliating your skin. And yeah, there's kind of a relief, an washed feeling over you. So I'm going to need you to go ahead and make a wisdom saving throw with advantage.
Okie dokie, wisdom save with advantage. That'll be a dirty 20.
All right. Yeah, as you kind of lean back and enjoy the peaceful calmness of this bath, you're just kind of doing your best not to think too much. And it's not as easy as it sounds. It's also not as hard as it appears. You're definitely able to slip into the surface levels of your subconscious. And that's when you kind of feel this chill down your spine, which is very odd because you're sitting in hot water. And it makes you kind of shiver gently. And you get the feeling that there are memories that you've been pushing away, that you've been doing your best to not think about, that are very much at the back of your mind. You have spent the last 2 months contemplating your existence after what happened to you all in the swamp of the Calded Sticks. And you've done very well to not let it dominate your thoughts and realize that this was something that happened and it's never going to happen again. But the scars and the pain, they remain. And the fear does its best to try to tap on your shoulder. And you get the feeling as you lay here with this mud mask over you and leaves over your eyes, there's something back there that looks like it wants to flash green eyes in your mind's eye, but it fails, and you brush it off. So, your memory, it doesn't harm you tonight. Your trauma that you have done your best to move past, you've tried to do so in a healthy way, and it looks like it's still paying off. But you get the feeling that every now and then, it's just the nature of having emotional scars with physical scars, that this stuff's not done reminding you that you weren't safe. You weren't trustworthy because you had no one around you to trust. And that sickness, that sickly, oily, cold, stone in your belly feeling definitely wants to visit you again, but you were able to put your hand up and brush it away and just enjoy a night for God's sake. And that's what you feel. That enjoyment. You fall asleep briefly. You find yourself pop up after about maybe 20 minutes. And is anybody else interested in joining this bath, as the room is very large? Does she see anybody enter the room as she pops her head up?
I think she can probably see me.
Yeah.
Okay. Koza,
This is a
Pradesh.
pretty early riser.
It's not morning.
Still late night.
It's still late night. She slept, but
Oh.
not for very long. She only closed her eyes for about 30 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Little nippy nap.
In the
Koza's
bubbling
asleep
water.
then.
Sorry?
I said Koza's asleep then.
Okay. All right, Kravish is who you see, Maven, as you pop your head up and you see this bard already stripped down to a towel. His glistening silver scales are ruddy and scuffed and in desperate need of polishing, as like the week's worth of dirt and grime and grit has seeped in between his scales, and he's got like a layer of sweat as he approaches this steamy bath and dips his toe in. It's hot.
Woo-hoo.
It's very
I'm
steamy
warm.
hot.
Oh, great. It may feel good though. Hey, you got space for company?
I mean, always.
Okay. Oh, hey.
How was talking to your family?
Oh, it was good. And my last letter was a couple of months ago. Somehow,
Oh,
I think
no.
my mother must belong to like an underground spy ring.
Yeah.
I love my mom, but she's, shall we say, a little overprotective.
Yeah? What is she worried about?
Oh, death of her firstborn.
Normal
no
stuff then, right?
grandbabies.
Oh, Lord. Do you
Yeah.
want to have kids?
You mean like now?
In general. Not immediately. I'm talking about in general.
Yeah, I guess at some point I'm going to want to settle down and have a family, but if you were leaving it up to my mother, I'd be settled down and cranking out clutches right now. Like apparently my sisters are about to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are you worried about
I got too
disappointing
much. I got too much of my dad in me.
them? He obviously settled down because you're here.
Obviously, he did. She must have must also be a member of some like witch cult.
He was your
Unless
mom.
Papa was a Rolling Stone.
Yeah. Oh, but now I'm just going to enjoy this lovely soak in this invitingly warm water with the woman that I love.
I run in
No.
and a cannonball.
There you go.
Make an athletics check. The rest of you make dexterity saving throws.
Oh, jeez.
Watch this be the next one. It is decidedly not 24.
All right.
And a 14 for me.
All right, Kravish, as you are kind of looking lovingly in Maven's eyes, and Maven, to hear him speak to you like that definitely furthers your relaxation away from those nasty memories that you shoved away from your mind earlier. You hear the thumping of heavy bare footfalls on the stone next to you approach at rapid speed, and then before you can blink your eyes open to look around, you hear nothing, and you have that feeling that something is near you at a high rate of speed, and then you just hear splash as this huge crash comes into a not a huge pool, by the way. It's only about 10 feet across. And Maven, you do your best to kind of back up and get out of the way of the major splash, but Kravish, you kind of take it right on the chin, and it just, water goes down your mouth. It blinds you for a moment, pushes you backwards, and both of you kind of turn and look, and there's Axton just kind of looking at you with this sopping wet hair flopping over his shoulders.
Oh my god. Oh, it's in my nose. It's in my nose. Oh. Thanks, bud.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Okie dokie.
Okay, Fabio.
All right.
A little more wet dog looking than that, but yeah. So, you find yourself in your study. Dinner sits pleasantly, fills your belly, and you have an arrangement of objects on your desk that you have arranged over the past few hours before dinner started. You have a black and red veined jewel, almost like a flat oval stone that you have found. That definitely is something that you have not totally investigated yet. You just know it kind of holds a faint magical property that you don't quite understand. You're kind of busy. Is there anything in your study that you'd like to be doing until bed? You were granted a number of magical informational books. There's a couple of spell books up there that you were able to sort of acquire through your familial contacts and have it delivered to your tower. Books on historical artifacts, things like that.
I'm going to spend the time casting glyphs of warding.
Okay.
All over my room and setting up some booby traps.
Okay. Yeah. If you want to, you can. What's that?
Then who hurt you?
Lots of people.
Lots of people.
The prince person, the prince guy.
Listen, it's better to be prepared than not be prepared.
You got like almost battery levels.
Go ahead and make an Arcana check for me,
That's going to be a 28.
A 28. So your room has been specifically detailed in the colors of your house, deep blue, trims of gold, trims of black, and you also have done your best to, through your contacts and influence in the Empire, to have certain materials brought here. One of which is kind of it's an aerosol, a wand with an aerosol property to it that kind of makes stone or wooden solid flat objects kind of a little bit more receptive to any magical enchantments or effects applied to it. So if you want to go over what kind of wards you want to put up, if any damage is dealt, you can add a 1d4 to the damage. And if you just want to shoot me a message on which wards you want and where you want them, I'll make my notes and my observations and maybe add that to the map. It's going to take you... That's like an hour-long ritual, right?
Hold, please.
Okay. Cozy, you're next.
Yeah, it takes about an hour.
Okay, so you have time to put up like 3 of them. And, yeah, they're going to protect your room real good. So if you just tell me what the damage is or what the effect is, I can give you the augmentation, because your room is we'll just say it's very easily protected.
Yeah, none of them are going to be damage.
Okay, all right.
I like not blowing up my stuff.
All right, so Koza.
Koza is probably going to, once he meanders into his room for the night, he's probably just going to let up some dancing lights as like little night lights, sort of like around the room.
Sure.
Maybe druid craft a flower to like puff and release like a nice vanilla scent in the air.
Ooh, that's nice.
And then he's just gonna kind of, as gracefully as he can, kind of slink into his hammock. You know, as gracefully as one can. Just kind of put his hands under his head and try to drift off to sleep for the night.
Yeah, your fireplace has been sort of augmented with a dim kind of glow. You're not really one to depend on a fireplace for heat, as that's not really how you've lived your life, being the druid that you are and the village that you hail from. So fires, you're not the biggest fan of them if you're by yourself. And your fireplace has sort of been stuffed with flowers. And these flowers at your command will open or close and emit whatever smell you want. And you see these 2 large stalks of brown wood covered in moss sort of grow to a height of about 3 feet within the fireplace. And they almost look like long, slender vanilla beans, and they crack open. And this little kind of a brown mist sort of briefly emits from these stalks and then dissipates sightlessly into the air. And it smells like vanilla bean. And you see there, right next to the fireplace, you see your large, you had it constructed a symbol of the Moonweaver, very large kind of shrine built up and hanging from the wall itself. It's about 8 feet wide. It's a very large symbol made out of some kind of cheap steel that's been hammered and polished into place. It's a little crude, but that's kind of how you like it. You've got vines kind of growing along the sides and moss crawling up the front of this display. And it just slowly kind of reflects the light of these little turquoise motes of light that sort of dance around. There's about 10 or 15 of them, and just kind of hover in the sky, almost simulating a hazy star field above you. And you go to jump into your hammock, and it responds to you, and you see these vines shoot up out of the ground and kind of catch you and lower you gently onto your hammock itself, which is basically just a large leather swath of leather bound by rope and tied to the trunk of a tree that you've grown in your room. It's about 20 feet tall. It takes up almost the entire right half of your tower room. And the other end of your hammock is kind of bolted to the wall, and yeah, you just kind of sink into your leaf nest, and the vines kind of grow over the hammock and sort of cover you like a large blanket. And the flowers in this place, you can feel kind of a very simple rhythmic hum, almost like insects that have grown and flying around in here, much to the housing staff's chagrin, emit this very pleasant chirp, this very chittery song-like sound, a melody that sort of wafts through the air, and just for a brief moment reminds you of home before everything that happens to you happened. And as you drift off to sleep, you kind of get this effortless feeling in the back of your head. There's this pressing memory that you're doing your best to push out. And just before you toddle off to sleep, you just get an image of a pair of eyes. Not green, not reptilian, not evil. Young and feminine. You see your face of your daughter, looking at you longingly. But then it fades, and you drift off to sleep. Axton, you are really big in the pool. You take up a lot of space. Of course, so does Kravish, but he's doing his best to sort of hug the sides of the hot tub. Your first bath in a long time. The water feels real good. You definitely get the feeling that there's some sort of Epsom salt in here. And if anybody in this room is proficient in Arcana, go ahead and roll it. Or you can roll a nature check.
Would I need to be proficient in either of those to roll for it?
I got 15.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
Okay.
Then nothing from me.
So, Axton, as you're standing there, kind of in the middle of the pool, you can feel a faceted, smooth surface under your foot in the immediate center of the pool, and it is really hot. Really, really hot. And you pull your foot away, and you look down, and in the water, you can barely see because there's kind of a lot of waves and bubbles in this pool. It's hard to really make out because it's about, I don't know, what's a hot tub? 4 feet deep, something like that. And there's kind of like a bench built into the bottom of the pool, so you all can like sit down in there without sinking to the bottom. You notice that there's a kind of a very dull orange glow at the bottom of the pool, right in the middle. And Kravish, you also notice this, and you can tell that gem is definitely some sort of magical property that looks like it's emitting heat, and it's enough to cause this pool to be warmed up, but it's not enough to cause all the bubbles.
That's me. Sorry. Okay. All right. Well, now we know how this water stays so hot. There's a big heating stone down there.
Well, the night goes on without any bother. You guys all get nice and clean. Axton, is there anything you would like to do before the night ends?
I'm actually just going to start drawing up some plans to, again, how to forge some weapons. I have some new ideas, new armor I'm thinking about, now that I have new materials. So I just start working on some blueprints and coming up with different designs.
Okay, so you're getting up and leaving? I'm assuming you're not working with. I'm assuming you're not working with blueprints in the tub.
No. I'll just, after about 5-10 minutes of the soak, I'll be like, yeah, I'm cleaning up and get out.
Kravish, if you had skin, you would definitely feel that it would be wrinkling, although Maven's fingers don't seem to be nearly as affected by this effect as Axton's is. And Axton bids you adieu, and in a towel, in a very large towel wrapped around his torso, he departs the bathhouse, and you are once again alone, so to speak.
Alone. I'm like, well, I am not going to interrupt your bathing any further, and I'm going to give you some privacy, so I'm going to duck out, and I'll meet you in the bedroom.
Okay. Be there soon.
Okay. I give her a light kiss and get out of the tub.
All right. Maven, you feel definitely clean enough. The exfoliation of this water is divine. You feel like you want to live here. It does remind you of the Taliesin Monastery bathing pools. One of the one of the tenets of that monastery was that, cleanliness was next to godliness, and that meant the temple of your body as well. So you definitely remember there being a very nice bath at the monastery. It was one of the perks. You slept on a burlap sack and got up at god-awful hours and dealt with chores and stuff, but damn, the bathhouse was nice.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll just stand for a little while longer. Rinse off my face mask.
Sure.
Get some sliced cucumber.
Yeah, little snack.
Little snacky poo. All right. So the night draws to a close. All of you in your respective dwellings. Baranor, I would like a perception check from you. As you are in the guardhouse, you have a really good view of the landscape beneath Stonehelm Keep. The tower itself, I know I only gave you 2 levels, but that first level, where there's really nothing in it, that's actually a staircase that's like 5 or 3, at least 3 levels high, as it just continuously spirals up until you get to the top, where your dwelling is.
Okay.
So go ahead and give me a perception check. You got a 22. That's really good. As you look out and the stars are out, and it is really chilly. There's not any wind right now. Seems like you kind of decided to look out over the landscape at a good time. So it's a real clear night. There's no fog. You'd expect there to be snow, but it's a pretty clear night. And you can see down the mountain where the Viperous River snakes through the forest towards the town of Hystael. Snow-covered at the moment. The architecture is interesting now that you're looking at it from this vantage point. The town itself, it hugs the eastern bank of the Ryebank Lake, and the Viperous River then collects at the south end of the lake and continues carving its way through Valandiir towards the southwest. You can see a number of lights on in the town. It's maybe a 3-mile journey south of the mountains along the Viperous River. So you can't hear anything, but you definitely see little flickering glitters of light that sort of dot this fishing town. You notice that there is a kind of an army fort-like keep directly in the middle, up against the shore of the lake. And it looks like there's perhaps somewhere between maybe 50 to 60 structures in this. Is it a village? Is it a town? It's not a city quite, but it's definitely bigger than Rathburn. That's for sure.
This is Hystael we're talking about?
Yep.
Okay. I mean, we've been to Hystael, right?
Yeah, but you've never really seen it from this angle. You can kind of get a lay of the entire layout of the town.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, you've never seen it from this angle before. And you kind of your syndicate roots beg you to map out what look like the major streets and thoroughfares of this town. If you're planning on going into town tomorrow, it'd be nice to kind of have that as a familiarity to you. Even in the darkness of night, you're able to kind of discern where the heavy foot traffic would be, at least from a cursory glance.
Sure. The brains or instincts got to do that as well.
Yeah. Luna is currently tucking into the corpse of a rabbit she caught. I would like a real quick nature check from you, please.
All this is just natural. I'm not going to guidance myself for it. Nature? Not that great. Oh, okay. I'll add a psychic knack to that, though.
Okay.
Let's see.
Nice.
Okay. 19.
19. Yeah. You've never seen this type of hair before. It is some kind of mountain rabbit that you've never encountered, but you can definitely tell based on other animals that you've seen. You're an expert on woodland creatures. That it is what's left of it. It looks like she's kind of eaten the back half of it out, and it definitely was in its winter coat. It has kind of a white coat with this dappled brown spotting all over it. And yeah, she's just kind of yanking at some tendon and chewing on a leg bone of some kind, and she just kind of looks up at you, and with all this companions that speak in each other's heads, she just gives you emotions, right?
Yes, that is correct.
You get contentment from
Hello?
her. Oh, I'm here.
Okay.
You get contentment from her for the first time in a really long time. She also kind of like spreads out a little bit, and you do notice that her lower half looks a lot. She's either putting on weight or she's pregnant.
Oh boy. Yeah.
It's hard to say.
Oh boy.
Well, I'll just smile over at her. You know, I didn't enjoy putting her in the little, in the ring while we were in the fireplace, but yeah, just kind of, I'll notice the weight, the belly.
Yeah.
Kind of smile a little bit bigger, knowingly.
She just kind of rolls her head over to you as you pat her, and she just kind of gives you a look of you just have a feeling in your heart that you're getting from her of gotta get ready, gotta make things ready.
Okay.
Preparedness, or the wanting of preparedness.
Yes.
Is there anything else you would like to do tonight?
Start picking out.
I'll let her, kind of, continue with her meal.
Sure.
And just kind of lay down, kind of looking over at her and drift off to sleep like that.
Contemplate how you're going to get a hold of Ithara. Give her a puppy.
That's later.
Yeah, we're gonna start asking people if they want puppies.
Yeah.
As your eyes...
One thing at a time here, guys.
Yeah, definitely. As your eyes begin to grow heavy, your eyelids grow heavy, and they start to close, the last thing you see is Luna kind of swallowing a large chunk of this rabbit's flesh, and it's not, it's not terribly bloody. She's not covered in blood. Rabbits don't really hold that much. She's licking her chops and kind of looks at you and gives you just this... It's not a nod, because she's a wolf. She's not sentient as we are. She just kind of gives you this subtle nod of, that you've seen her give you before. And that is of, you go to sleep, I'll watch us both. Axton.
Yes.
Axton Woodman Bloom. It's late. Everyone seems to be making their way to their towers, and you're no different. You definitely feel that raw, steamy heat of your skin after being in hot water for a long time. You definitely feel better, but as you ascend from the pool and dry yourself off and make your way to your tower, you're awash with creative possibilities. And it's not until you get back to your tower room, you climb the steps leading up to your chamber, that you get back to your abode.
Mm-hmm.
You cross the large room, and it's laid out very, very minimalistically, very simple. Stone floor. You got a handsome blue rug under your bed. The hearth fire is raging right now. It looks like your tower very well may be facing what looks, what is like a a common wind direction. And so your room has a larger hearth than the rest of the place. And it's burning pretty strong. It's keeping the place very warm, and the light of the fire is flickering off of you got a couple of training dummies at the far end of your room, over what looks like wooden board slats that make it easy to, if you wanted to, run around barefoot and practice in some way, or with boots. And you've got a couple weapon racks in this room where you've got all of the weapons that you've acquired slid into place. The keep itself does have an armory as well, but those are much more generic swords and axes and stuff. This is your private collection.
So I see like the odachi that I tried to craft during the competition. My halberd that I've been using for pretty much the entire game is still here.
Yep. Yeah, they have their own little spots, and you've kind of moved weapons from one spot to another until your weapon rack kind of looks exactly how you want it to look, and you're kind of fighting on whether or not you want it to have an aesthetic pleasing look, or whatever you grab regularly is closest to the edge of the rack. So you've done your best to kind of personalize and customize this part of the room. You do see a set of armor on one of the mannequins at the far end, and right next to that mannequin, and it's a very simple set of steel armor. There's no bells and whistles about it. It doesn't offer you any more protection than what you're wearing. And next to that is a wide workbench with an arrangement of leatherworking tools and metalworking tools that you can use to maybe curl metal into rings. And you got a bunch of scrap sitting next to your bench that you've kind of been piddling with and tapping here and tapping there. And you've got scrolls of parchment, and you got a couple sketches, and one of the sketches is one that you haven't finished yet. It's that of what looks like some kind of a long arm, a pole arm, and you haven't really finished it yet.
No, I might take a look at that now. Maybe in the morning.
Okie doke. All right, is that it? Is there nothing else you want to do?
No, that's about it. Just gonna, like I said, draw up some blueprints for maybe some new armor, possibly some new weapons. That's about it.
Okay. As you stand there kind of lazily scratching your charcoal into the paper, you feel this radiating heat that is apart from your fire. Standing next to your kind of work area / practice area, at the far left end of your room is a statue that doesn't exactly bear a striking resemblance to your patron, Moradin, the Allhammer. It's not exactly the same. It's definitely not a dwarf. It looks like it was some kind of a barbaric human with a helmet, but he's carrying a hammer, and he's kind of holding it out in front of him, and that's what really spoke to you. That's what really reminded you of your patron, and that's why it was something that was somewhere else in the castle, somewhere on the grounds near the guardhouse, and you had it actually moved up to your room as nobody else wanted it, and it kind of reminds you of Moradin in a way, and it acts as best a shrine as you can muster for now. Mm-hmm. And that, you feel that as you are sitting there working and kind of look over at it, you imagine what the Allhammer would think of what you've done with these powers that you have thus far. So I'm going to need you to go ahead and make a religion check.
Oh God, no.
Got the statue off a wish.
Oh, jeez.
Well, I'm not only thinking about like the weapons that I would craft, but the tools that maybe Moradin would actually use to craft said weapons.
Sure.
I'm thinking about how to improve not only like the weapons themselves, but the skills used to make them. Guidance.
Eight. Oh boy.
9.
Oh.
Man.
So as
Enjoying
you
my girl.
as you look at this statue, you think to yourself, it's just a statue. It's not as Moradin-y as you wish it was, which also kind of inspires you. There are huge blocks of granite somewhere on the ground, somewhere near the servant quarters, because the servant quarters, which is on the map I posted, is kind of like in the back of the estate. Like, you leave out the back entrance of the castle, and there's like a barn and a shed and the servant quarters house as well. You know that there's granite blocks somewhere on the grounds that were displaced, possibly at the beginning of this keep's construction, that were just kind of extra blocks that weren't needed. And there is there's a stone chisel on the bench in front of you, and a rather hefty looking stone hammer. And you're not exactly sure what to think about the idea of carving your own Moradin statue, because you don't know how to do that. But it's just something that occurs to you, and you feel yourself getting tired from the day.
Actually, when thinking about that, could I possibly use my channel divinity to carve what I know that he looks like with that ability?
It would definitely aid you. It would depend on how big of the shrine you want. But yeah, that would definitely, and that's kind of what you're getting from this, looking at this statue and looking at the tools and remembering that there are large slabs of rock. That this part of your room was nice, but it definitely could use a more realistic upgrade.
Okay.
Your eyelids
Not
also.
really used to this religion thing.
yeah.
I haven't really prayed that much, so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, continue.
Yeah, you kind of look at the statue, and you can feel yourself talking to the Allhammer, even if it's just kind of like a back of your thoughts kind of way of, this is new to me, but I'm willing to give it a try and continue moving in the direction that I think you want. And your eyes grow heavy over. Your eyelids grow heavy over your eyes, and you kind of twist your neck, and you hear like 3 cracks and a pop. And you make your way across your room to your bed, making sure the door is closed. You don't have an armoire here. You don't have like a cabinet for clothing. You have a footlocker. You slip into a pair of cotton pants and climb into bed. Snuff the fires near you on the table, and drift off to sleep. As do the rest of you in your humble abodes. Some of you sleeping between sheets, others in beds of leaves and grass. And that's where we're going to take a break.
All right.
Sleepy time.
Can't believe I failed that religion check.
All right, buddy. Happens to the best of us.
I just go back to a previous save. Come on.
Definitely scum saved before that check.
F5.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I never hear anybody say, I'd like to quick save. I haven't heard you do it once.
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
I'll remember in the future.
All right.
You also
We've all been
don't hear
playing
us
too
say
much Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, you also don't hear us say we're going to jump every turn.
Literally.
All right, it's 4:20, folks. Smoke them if you got them.
All right.
We will meet back here at 4:35 Eastern Standard. We'll call it 4:40. It's actually like 4:23. We'll meet back here at 4:40 and continue with what you guys are going to get up to tomorrow.
I gotta take off
Oh, good.
anyway, so good breaking point. Joe,
Yep.
I sent you the
Yes, you did.
crap guy.
Yep, I will incorporate that into your room and remind any of your housing staff that They probably don't want to wander into your room. So, all right. Well, hope you have a good day. Thanks for coming out tonight. And we'll see the rest of you in about 15, 20 minutes.
All right, cool.
All right. See you later, Ken.
See ya.
Bye. Have a good day.
So, you all awaken. You feel, what's the word? You feel refreshed, but it's almost like that feeling you have after you come back from vacation. Like you're supposed to rest on vacation and like recharge your batteries, but you end up coming home and just wanting to go on vacation from your vacation. You wake up with kind of a swimmy feeling in your head. Nothing toxic, nothing detrimental, but just like a residual feeling wiped out. But you all do have a long rest and enjoy the luxuries of home that you probably aren't going to enjoy all the time. It's nice to get it while it's good. You rise to your feet and get into your day clothing and make your way down for a, just a simple oatmeal breakfast. There's, a little bit of fruit, to paw at, and the housing staff just kind of nods at you as you approach and offers you coffee and juice. And it's a rather pleasant morning. Is there anything anybody is specifically doing before leading up to breakfast or during breakfast?
No, I don't think anything
Not that I can think of.
particular for me.
Okay, well, the day is yours, Crown Collectors.
Yuno's probably arming his 17 tryouts.
He stayed up all night. He didn't just do 3.
He would
He
like
stayed
to
up booby trapping his booby traps.
He would like to cast
Yeah.
cast alert and activate his arcane ward.
Yeah, he's actually not he's not downstairs. Well, he is downstairs, but you guys those of you who made it to the kitchen first found him. Instead of going to the dining hall, he crosses through the dining hall and to the main staircase down to the laboratory.
Okay.
Okay.
He's
We're chatting
he's,
with you, man.
he's working on something. Remember to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, he grabs like a plate of toast with a couple hard-boiled eggs on it and toddles on down there. Well, we can fast forward to partway through the day. There is at some point a period of time when Clyde approaches one of you and says, Masters, I'm pleased to report the Sheriff of Hystael is here to retrieve the prisoner. He's asking to speak to the head of the house.
Well, since I guess that would be all of us if we really want to be technical about it.
Yes, you're the mouth.
You're
You're the
the
face.
figurehead.
You're the face.
You're the mouth.
Okay then. Well, then I'll put on
Okay.
my official head of household pants and.
They're purple.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah, you step forward and you're greeted by a very, very small person. A halfling in what looks like kind of a very handsome and well-tailored leather armor set, but it's not just armor, it's tailored and designed in a way where it kind of looks like a suit, like a smart suit. It's got a couple of cross straps across his shoulder, and it looks like he's carrying a very handsome little rapier on a hip mount. He's also got some pockets on his pants where he can easily access some of his items. He has kind of a tousled mop of brown curly hair on top of his head, and he has just what looks like the beginnings of a soul patch that he perhaps shaves regularly. And he's just got a large hawk-like nose and these big pointed ears that stick out from his hair. And right on his chest, you see not quite a metal badge, but like an embroidered piece of leather that looks like it's got some kind of crest on it, stamped on it in some way. And he just kind of looks up and he's like, "Right, are you the head of the house for the keep?"
Yes, I speak for the household. I am Argenturoth Gravish. Pleasure to meet your acquaintance. And you are?
Vincent Baggin. I am the sheriff of Hystael. No, not Baggin. Vincent Back. B-A-A-C-K.
B-A-A-C-K.
Vincent Back.
All right, Sheriff Back. Pleasure to meet your acquaintance.
Sheriff of Hystael. And well met to you as well. I'm here to retrieve the prisoner that your housing staff apprehended a few days ago.
Yeah.
If you'll permit me entry into your home.
Absolutely.
All right.
The major domo will direct you to the to our dungeon area.
All right. Yeah, Clyde kind of escorts Sheriff back to the dungeons. Are you going to leave him to his business? Or are you going to accompany?
Well, I'll walk with him.
We're definitely a company.
Okay. As you approach, you walk with Sheriff back to the back staircase behind your thrones and make your way down to the laboratory where you can see Yuno is hunched over a book on an easel. It's a large book. It's definitely something that you don't really carry around with you. And there's glyphs and scrawls and all kinds of different languages on this book. And you see him just kind of looking through a multi-lensed set of spectacles. And he's working at a table with this kind of a depression carved into the stone of the table. And there's several little piles of powder. And he's using a wand to move it around and mix certain things and looking at the book and enchanting little words. And he kind of pokes his head up. He's like, "Oh, what's up, guys?"
This is the Sheriff of Hystael, who's here to collect our visitor that's residing in the dungeon.
Oh, all right. Hold on a second. And you see, he pulls a wand out of his robe, and it's a wand you've all seen before. It's a wand he uses whenever he is casting his glyphs of warding or things like that. And you see him point at the door leading to the dungeon, and all of a sudden this deep red circle with glyphs all over it glows briefly, and then kind of silently shatters and falls to the floor harmlessly. He's like, "All right, you're good."
Thanks. Yeah. Don't let him frighten you. He's really a big old teddy bear.
Yeah, so let's see. Kravish, you have the dungeon keys.
Okay.
And the door is locked, as per usual.
Sure. So I will go ahead and retrieve the necessary key and unlock the main door.
Okay. It clacks with a clunk. It swings open with a creak. And the first to step inside is the sheriff. He's a little gingerly stepping side to side through the doorway. You see he's got his hand on his rapier, and he's got his other hand on his hip, where he's carrying what looks like a very small hand crossbow. And it's kind of like in its folded up, compact version. And he just kind of got his hand on his hip there. He kind of sidesteps towards the inside, and you see him look down into the middle cell on the northern side of the dungeon. Right? Is this him then? And at that moment, you hear a little bit of stirring inside the cell, and a little bit of grunting and groaning. Ugh.
Yes, that's him.
Right. Well, kindly open the door to his cell, and I'll be on my way to bringing him into town.
Okay. All right.
You see him he pulls his sword out of his holster, or out of his scabbard, and just sort of has it at the ready. And he's like, "All right, fella, now you play nice, and we won't get nasty with you." You hear him kind of grunt a little. He's like, "I would have gotten away with it if the damn girl hadn't seen me. I'll see you all around someday, I'm sure."
All right. You have bye-bye.
Bloody adventurers. And he's just gonna he's in chains, and you see the halfling pull from behind his hip this set of wooden manacles, and he slaps them over top of the chains that he's already, because he's not really in like manacles. It's almost like the security that the housing staff was able to have apprehend him, wrapped his hands in chains, and then had it locked with a real simple lock. It looks like if you really, really wanted to, you probably could have gotten out of here, or at least out of his manacles or his chains. So the halfling slaps these wooden, real crude-looking manacles, and you see the wood sort of unfold as soon as they touch his skin, wrap completely around his wrists, and you watch as the chains made of vines that link these two manacles starts to strengthen and twist and grow, and all manner of little tiny leaves sprout all over the manacles, and you see his hands kind of cinched together real tight. All right.
Little trick.
And he's going to lead, at the tip of his blade, Magnus out of the dungeon cells.
All right. Well, now that business is taken care of,
he's going to begin to exit the laboratory, and before he leaves, he's going to turn towards one of you, and he's going to flip you a little wooden coin. Now, on this wooden coin is the same symbol that was on his little chest badge. It's just kind of a rudimentary looking, kind of like a family crest. It's got very basic designs on it, and that's on one side, and the other side is the picture of what looks like a building or a house.
Mm-hmm.
And underneath it, does anybody speak Halfling?
No, I do not.
Okay. I don't know if Yuno does. So I'm just going to say he is nose deep in his work and not really paying attention to what you guys are doing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gonna flip you that coin. He's gonna say, "If you ever have business at the courthouse, or you wish to inquire more as to the gentleman here's crimes and punishments, just present this coin, and they'll grant you passage."
All right. Well, thank you, and safe journey back to town.
Thank you very much. Enjoy your day. And he's going to actually move over to. Instead of leaving the laboratory up the stairs, he's going to move over to the teleportation circle. And he's got a bracelet on his wrist that he brings over to it, and he's going to kind of press a little jewel on the edge of his bracelet, and you see them both enveloped in blue flame and then disappear.
Oh. Seems like everybody's got a gimmick these days.
With full bellies and, perhaps a town to visit, the day is yours. Crown collectors, what would you like to do?
I believe we were...
Say our goodbyes to Captain Tolliver.
Oh, yes. I was like, didn't we get an invitation from the
sheriff? Yeah, I said to send a missive. We'd see him the next day.
I don't think it wasn't. I don't think it was the sheriff. It was the mayor, right?
The mayor, yeah. I didn't want to just pop in. I wanted to give him at least a day to know we're coming.
Well, that was yesterday, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Then we're going to send the note today.
Oh, okay.
And we'll see him the following day, tomorrow.
Gotcha. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to have the magic mirror. I'm actually going to have that moved to the war room, since it's not really something that's specific to just me, that anybody can use it if they wished. So we'll just move it to the war room as just for a general communication device.
I believe
Okay.
Maven said something about she wanted to go shopping, right?
I just wanted to go somewhere where I could get that, excuse me, where I could get that, headdress resized so it would fit me. That's what I
All
wanted.
right. Refresh my memory. That's the headdress from the fireplane, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Is anyone going with you? You going solo? You guys kind of have the day to yourself.
Go weather.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind taking a look around the shops as well, just to see what I can see.
Yeah, we
I'll
really
go
hadn't
too.
spent a whole heck of a lot of time in Hystael. It was just kind of a means to an end.
Your horses are there, by the way.
Oh,
Your horses are there.
Baranor will also go.
All right.
I might go see my horse then, Pickle. I haven't seen him in a while.
I guess that leaves Koza. What's Koza doing?
Going well.
Okay. All right. Party into town.
Let's all go.
We should all go.
We should go.
All right. There is no magic circle to Hystael.
It's right
And even if there was, none of you know it. So you're going to have to hike down the mountain and down
Okay.
your staircase.
Yes.
So just go ahead and give me a. I'm not going to make you do this. We're not going to figure out how to avoid the ropers that live on the ceiling above your staircase all the way up the mountain.
Isn't Sundancer taking care of those?
Oh, that's what
Well,
I thought.
they have. If you look at the map, there's a tunnel that leads all the way down
Right.
the mountain or down his lair, and it's probably maybe 20 feet wide, and then it leads down to a opening at the back of his lair, that the southern part that leads to the staircase itself, and they can't fit through the opening. They're pretty big, and they're really, really high up. They're like 40, 50 feet high up in the air on top on this thing. So Sundancer doesn't mention that he's seen them. He doesn't, Maven, you get the feeling that he hasn't really left his lair too much, although you do see a some form of ungulate split-hoofed skeleton on one of the rocks near his little nest, which, by the way, is now it's much hotter in here than it was yesterday, and you can see him curled up. He's actually asleep, and there's little jets of flame that sort of lick all around this crown of rocks that he's nestled between. And yeah, it's just you go through the opening and you see that the ceiling is super, super high and it's very dark. Those of you with dark vision can see, and you know exactly where the ropers are. So it's up to you guys. You want to run real fast past them, or do you want to sneak by them?
Let's just jog through it.
Yeah. run
Jog
real
through
fast.
it? All right. No problem. I'm not going to cause you to roll. Just want to know what you're up to. You make it to ground level. You solve the puzzle. Actually, you don't have to solve the puzzle from this end. There's a giant lever. You pull it, and the door comes free. Juk, 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 juk. You can hear the rushing of very cold water ahead of you as the waterfall that conceals this entrance opens before you. You guys do have a boat now. It's not a very fancy boat. It's something that can carry about 10 people. There's a couple of paddles, and it's enough to get you down. I mean, there's not really much to do about drifting downstream on a boat. It's just a matter of not getting stuck on the rocks or anything like that, because it is rather treacherous along the shore. There's not a whole lot of footholds or anything to walk across. That's why it was so dangerous getting here. So having a boat's nice. I would like a survival check from two of you.
Oh, yeah.
can do it.
Survival's
Ranger,
pretty
I
good.
wanna-
Yeah, I'm like, I'll do it next.
Do it probably. Guidance.
Okay.
Also guidance.
Ooh.
You guys believe in yourself big time.
Oh yeah.
Mine's
All right. Yeah, Baranor, you're kind of really... Now, you guys aren't... You're not using oars. These are not paddles connected to the boat.
It's a dirty 30, by the way.
A dirty 30. Perfect. 14, that's not terrible. You're not really... Axton's not a super big fan of boats. He's not an aquatic man at his soul. You grew up on a farm, surrounded by land. So using this thing is a little more difficult than you first imagined, but it takes you a little longer because Axton's side of the boat, it keeps drifting towards the left, and you guys have to overcompensate until you finally get to what looks like a stone dock on the side of the Viperous River that spills you out into Ryebank Lake. And you are able to kind of see the town of Hystael about a quarter-mile walking distance from here. You find a place to moor your small skiff, and you look out over the lake, covered in, the land is all covered in snow. The water looks crisp and cold, maybe just above freezing, and you can see a half a dozen or so similar skiffs to yours, with people casting lines into the water. And what you see is this.
Ooh.
The town of Hystael, quite medieval in its architecture. You notice that somewhere in the middle, towards the edge, away from the lake, you see a very high structure. It looks almost military in its construction. High walls with spikes. It looks slightly out of place. And you see many of the buildings in this town are higher than they are wide. They're a little taller than they are wide. But it's a very quaint-looking village. There's a couple of cabins nearest to you. Looks like the edges of town are a little more of the Grizzly Adams type. You see a lot of people wearing furs and long beards. And yeah, welcome to Hystael, everybody.
All right. That big building must be where the ladies' auxiliary meets. All right. Well, time to go meet the locals. Howdy, neighbor.
Go ahead and give me a perception check at first, Kravish.
18. Don't know why I rolled it twice, but there it is.
There it is. All right. Just going to switch this up here.
I'm just waiting for the ninjas to attack.
The ninjas?
The ninjas.
Yeah.
Well, you don't see any ninjas. What you see is a popular... What's that?
I said that's because they're well-skilled ninjas.
Yeah. If you can't see them,
They're doing their job.
their job. What you do see is a plethora of races. Mostly halflings in Hystael. You do see a couple of dwarves. You see a number of humans, not very many elves, and a surprisingly larger amount of half-orcs than you would have expected. Let's see. Can I have a history check from anybody who's proficient in it?
I have half proficiency.
Half still counts.
Halfling.
Get out.
I don't know shit.
All right, so I will say that Axton, you're a man out of time, and Hystael is younger than you. So it's not that you know anything about Hystael itself, but you do have some experience with lake towns and fishing villages. On your farm, you did, when you were younger, travel to the market and sell your goods, and in exchange met quite a few people just passing through, and some of them were fishermen. So you get the feeling that this is definitely an aquatic economy here. There's not a lot of industry here that you can see. You don't see a whole lot of smokestacks blowing smoke into the air. So you get the feeling that there's a lot of, lobster fishing, cray fishing, regular fishing. There's people out there with rods and nets and fishing trawlers along the lake. And this reminds you of some of the people that you met at market when you were selling your vegetables and such.
Quaint, simple people, nothing too high society or anything like that. I get it.
Yeah. What you don't see here is thuggery. You don't notice anybody kind of shifty eyes looking around, darting through the shadows. You see a lot of fishmongers, especially lining the shore of Ryebank Lake. And you just you're keeping your eye on things as per usual. And it's funny, you just don't seem to get your hackles up on really anything that's going on around here.
When we first came through here, there was a lot of thieves' cant symbols around, though, wasn't there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's see here. Kervish, you got an 18 on your perception, but you got shit on your history. You've never been here.
Right.
Not to say you've never been here. You've never had any experiences here. You guys were kind of in and out. You guys have found your horses. You gave a little bit of a flowery language to the stable hand who kind of looked at you like you had lobsters crawling out of your ears. He wasn't much in conversation as far as, what's going on around town. He's just like, it's daytime or something, like something stupid like that.
Gotcha.
But Maven, you also have never been here, so your memories of your travels brought you to a couple of places that bordered large bodies of water, and you know that in and of itself creates hardships. Well, Hystael is like right on the edge of the Grasping Ridge Mountains, and it's kind of a hidden gem, this place. And it is, all of you can get the feeling that it's of the Empire, but not necessarily, like, you don't see a huge Imperial presence here.
Okay.
You don't see Imperial guards, you don't see the Black Guard anywhere. But there is Imperial bannering all over the place. No, not all over the place. The closer you get to the military fort at the center of town, the more Imperial regalia you see. And, you do see that there's a standardized uniform amongst what could be thought of as the guards that look very much like the sheriff did. Kind of a dark blue and brown leather suit of armor. And just kind of traipsing around. You see one of them is like leaning into a food truck and sipping on a cup of tea, whereas others are patrolling the streets.
All
right. What you want to do, y'all?
Baranor would kind of like to break off from the group for a bit and kind of, remembering what he saw the night prior, just kind of wander the town, kind of mapping it out a little bit more in his mind.
All right, we'll get to that.
I guess I'm
what else,
try
folks?
to look around to find some blacksmiths or, some shops that might be selling weapons, armor, just materials, the normal.
Okay.
And I guess Maven and I'll be looking for like a clothier, somebody that can help with the
Would I need
headdress
like
that you want to be resized.
would I need like a jeweler, or would I need like I don't know. I
A
don't
jeweler,
know
a tailor, maybe an armor,
like yeah.
something that can change it. It was too big for you, if I remember right. Correctly?
Yeah, it was just like not the right size.
Okay.
Fit.
Christmas Town. Unfortunately, Hystael does not celebrate Windhoven, which is a holiday that some of you know about. So they don't really have a lot of winter decorations. You will notice, however, that there is a lot of pine branches in the motif of how this town is decorated. A lot of pine branches, especially towards the outer edges of the city away from that military fort. You do see a little more local flair, and it is snowy. There's kind of snow everywhere. You're all traipsing through it. But the sky is blue. There's not a cloud in the sky. There's no snow falling at the moment. And you guys are kind of eyeing the local fair through the stalls of the it's kind of a very short marketplace. It looks like there's a place that sells rolls of silk and cotton and fabric and satin and stuff like that. Not a huge selection, a lot of earth tones, a lot of dark tones. You do find a tailor in town, Kurdish, by the name of Bram Danemark.
Okay.
He is a halfling.
Mm-hmm.
And he sells real kind of practical clothing. There is a strong religion of Yandala within the city, and you do see that there is some nicer clothing, but like farmer nicer, like vibrant colors, but still made out of like wool shirts and stuff like that.
Okay.
And for the purposes, in your chatting with him, most of those are purchased for going to the temple and going to worship and stuff like that. There's not a whole lot of party atmosphere here. There is cause for celebration when there's, like a new birth of somebody. They'll throw a big shindig, or some kind of event locally. Maybe someone caught a humongous fish is what you hear, and they'll throw a party for that. But other than that, it's kind of a very... Sorry, go ahead.
As a kind of salt of the earth type.
Yeah, salt water of the earth for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he just kind of pushes his little glasses up his nose at you, and he's like, welcome to the shop. Is there anything in particular that you're looking for?
Oh, well, we're relatively new to the area, so we're just checking out the various shops in town, seeing what they had to offer. My companion here also is looking for someone to help resize a headdress.
Oh, well, what kind of headdress is it?
I'll pull it out and show it to him.
Now, I don't
describe that.
Yeah, I don't remember if we really got into it too much, so I'll leave it up to you how you want it to be designed, and any alterations that you want to it.
Okay. My notes, it has like Statue of Liberty spikes with clear crystal beads that hang down into the face. It's copper with silver inlay and multicolored gemstones, and that it doesn't fit well.
All right.
So yeah, I just want it to like fit better.
Okay.
It doesn't I'll try to put it on and it's just like an awkward kind of fit situation, and so I'm just want it to fit better.
All right. Well, he's going to take it from you, and he's going to look at your head. You see him pull a little piece of yellow string out of his pocket, and there's little hash marks on it. It's some kind of measuring tape. He wraps it around your head, and then compares that with what he measures in the inside of this headdress, and he says, "Oh yes, I see the problem here. Well, I tell you what, it definitely looks like it was custom fit for someone larger than you's head, and not a human head or an elf head. It was kind of a stunted round shape. Definitely not going to fit you. I'll tell you what I can do, though. I can clip the back of this crown off," and he's pointing to the fact that the entire headdress has like a round ring of copper, and it's form-fitting. So, the fact that you have a smaller head, he lets you know that he can clip the actual headdress part away from the wraparound crown piece and just attach like a very handsome looking leather strap apparatus to it to hold it to your head a little better.
Okay. But it doesn't take away from the visuals.
Nope. All of the jewels and beads are all right here out front, and the only thing that in the back that I'll be removing is that kind of hammered into a specific shape ring that makes up the back of the headdress. I'll take that away, and if you want, I'll purchase the copper scrap from you and put it towards the price of the alteration.
Sounds great.
All right, so it's about 10 silver worth of copper, and his alteration is going to cost a total of 2 gold.
Okay.
Plus 10 silver of, or not 10. We'll say 5 silver of leather that he'll bring from. He's got kind of a whole selection of leather straps and strips, and he's going to do a pretty decent job of making it kind of ornate and sewing this in place. And he's gonna ask for it for about 2 or 3 hours, so he can really finish this thing properly.
No problem.
All right. Well, I'll get to work on this. I'll have it back to you later this afternoon. And is there anything else that I can help you guys with?
I'm okay. Do you need anything?
No, I think that will about cover what we need.
Okay.
All right. Axton, what were you doing in town? You were looking for weapons or something?
New rare exotic metals, whatever I can find, possible weapons, armor, see what's around.
Okay. You can give me a perception or investigation check.
I'm much better at perception, so...
Okay.
Guidance. Yeah. 17. Nothing great.
All right. 17, nothing great. That's not that bad.
I rolled a 2. Or 3.
You just have an insane perception modifier, don't you?
I do, yeah. Plus 13.
Okay, so you kind of walking through town. I'm guessing you're kind of on your own, unless Koza's with you. I don't know. I know Baranor is broken off on his own. Koza, what are you following anybody in particular, or are you also kind of riding solo?
I'll say Koza kind of wanders after he sees a couple other people wander.
Okay. Axton, so you do find a blacksmith. You find a few crafters of metal. You find a farrier, and the farrier is like the little shop that's attached to the stable and the livery. So you kind of clock that guy mostly does like horseshoes and saddle bracketry and foot stirrups and things, and also does a lot of leather working and works to take care of all of the needs for beasts of burden like yokes and rein rings and things like that, outfitting saddles and outfitting carts for use with horses and oxen. You also get that there is a general construction blacksmith. He makes nails, he makes hinges, brackets, and plates and things for constructing architecture and things like that. There's no weaponsmith, but there is an armorer. He is a little closer to the fort, and he's a little looks like he's a little busy. He doesn't pay you too much mind. He's kind of a tall human with a broad chest, a thick, short black beard, a mane of black hair that kind of tumbles down the back of his head. He's pretty filthy. He's covered in soot, and his hands are real rough and stubby-fingered hands holding this giant hammer that he's beating this piece of red steel into shape on top of an anvil.
Interesting work you got going on there.
What's that you say?
That's some pretty interesting work that you got going on there. Don't mind me, I'm just gonna take a look, see what you're at.
You notice the bulk of his work has to do with breastplates, shoulder pauldrons. He has 2 sets of armor, they look like they're unfinished. They're in a couple of pieces look like they're missing, but they're both exactly the same. They look very similar to what you've seen the Black Guard wear, both in Dane and in Brackenshire. It's just nothing has been coated or painted or whatever they do to make their armor black. That hasn't been applied yet. They're all pretty much kind of rough steel. He's right now it looks like he's beating a flat piece of sheet metal into shape, perhaps a thigh guard or a greave or a shoulder pauldron, not sure what it is. Not really any weapons. There are a couple of spears against a rack in the corner, and he's just got a raging fiery forge next to him, and there's like a vent that lets the heat flow up and away into a hole in the ceiling.
Okay, I just take it all in, just watch him work, and just look at some of the other works that are around to see if there's anything that catches my eye.
Okay, you do see a rather handsome shield. It's really the only piece in here that is attractive to you, beyond the fact that his armor looks and there's like gauntlets and barding and little pieces here and there that he doesn't really have like a display or a showcase. He just kind of has pieces of armor stuffed everywhere, and the ones that are finished look like they have kind of like a burlap wrap around them loosely to kind of protect them. And but you do see this really interesting shield. It's kind of a half kite shield, maybe 2 feet wide, 3 feet tall, and it is also completely steel. There's no coloring on it, but it looks like he's currently etching a really interesting design into the edge. Mm-hmm. And there is a piece of parchment stuck to the front with what looks like an inked design of maybe a family crest that he's going to probably etch into the front of it and then maybe paint it. But right now all you see is like the sketch attached to the shield to kind of give him a bearing on what it's going to look like and things like that. I would say that unless you're looking for something specific, you don't really see anything that stands out here that you'd really want to buy. But it all looks like good work. Not great, you've seen better, but good, pretty good.
Okay, cool. That's all I wanted to know. Thanks.
Okay. Baranor.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Let's get to you.
Okay.
You kind of broke off from the group. You disappeared into the streets. Now that you're down here, it definitely feels familiar to you that you're able to kind of link landmarks to what you saw last night in different points in the city. So I'll say that if you give me a survival check or a perception check, your choice, we'll nail down exactly how well you know the layout of this town.
Guidance. Okay, and then a D4. 22.
Okay, doke. All right.
I can go higher if it need be.
Oh no, you're good.
Okay.
So as you're moving through the town, you definitely catch a couple of nasty glares at you. The closer you get to actually not closer. When you get right up to the walls of this military fort, you don't see any Black Guard, but you do see people in what looks like maybe breastplate that has the Imperial seal on the chest. Black capes, silver trim on their gloves, their weapons are all very well made. But they do their best to make themselves as intimidating as possible. That, however you take that is up to you. It's very clear you're not welcome to hang around the fort, but you're smart enough to know that you're just here to kind of map things out, and you get the sense that maybe they're clocking you do that, and they're keeping their hands on their swords as you pass by, but they don't really say anything. So you definitely have a proficiency in any history with regards to the layout of this place. That means if one of you guys wants to find a building or an establishment, that you can add your proficiency to whatever roll I require in order for you to find it.
Sounds good. Do I catch anything out of the ordinary also?
Yeah, you do see the thieves' cant kind of spread out all over the place. There is a warehouse that you pass by that, and this thieves' cant is a very common general kind of cant. It's a level 1 rogue would be able to discern what it is. It doesn't seem like they're trying terribly hard to hide them, but you kind of also know where to look for stuff like that. Looking low, looking around the inside of a signpost that's up against a building instead of on the front of it. And there's a warehouse, and I'll give you the name of it. It's the Ironback Storage. Ironback Storage, really.
Ironback Storage.
Ironback Storage.
Okay.
And it's a warehouse. It's about 2 floors high. Pretty big, maybe 60, 70 feet long. And there is a clear indication carved into the inside of one of the posts that hold up one corner of the building that this is a honeypot. There is definitely things valuable to steal here.
Okay.
There is not a bank here, but there is a deposit house that also has a honeypot symbol on it. However, it is crossed out, and there is instead it's a kind of a hybrid symbol that means honeypot, but it's dangerous.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. Yep, you find 2 symbols for safe house. Around, we'll say safe house 1 and safe house 2, just if you wanted to discern the difference.
Okay. Do I recognize any of the is there a territorial mark? Of a certain a certain group of thieves guild or something like that. The syndicate has its own markings.
It does. The syndicate has its own thieves' cant.
Right.
So of your dexterity skills, which are you proficient in?
All of them.
What about intelligence?
Intelligence, investigation, nature.
Okay. Give me an investigation check.
Investigation, all right.
Yeah.
I'll guidance that as well. Do have it. Okay.
Nice. Very nice.
22.
22. All right. Yeah, you definitely get a sense of regionality from this cant. There's certain curves to certain symbols, and Thieves' Cant is both really simple and also very complicated at the same time. It's meant to convey information in as few markings as possible, so there is some nuance and style to it's almost like having an accent, like a localized dialect. And you don't get anything as far as a Thieves Guild name, per se, but you do get a sense that I'll say that you feel like whoever left these markings are kind of inexperienced. They're not, like I said, not hard to find.
Right.
And I'll say that one of the safe houses, you got pretty good on your perception too, so I'll definitely say that when you found safe house 1, you found kind of like graffiti carved into sort of the bottom of the foundation of this house. It's kind of got like a wood beam that goes across the outside of the foundation. And you just found this very small carving, and with a 22 investigation, it says the Grim Walkers. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Grim Walkers. But the way it's written, it just feels like someone's flexing. Like someone is like, we're the Grim Walkers. Fear us. Like it seems like there's a little too much flavor in it.
Some posers. Okay.
There's some disaffected middle schoolers.
I'm thinking like the what's that, the vampire show, the vampire documentary show. What's that called?
What we do in the shadows.
What we do in the shadows. The Slayers little group that he finds, where they're absolutely terrible.
Yeah, they're not good at their job at all.
No,
one of them gets killed.
Yeah, well, they all get killed. They get killed in their first raid.
That's right. Yeah, you're not sure if whoever left this is legit. The thieves' cant is definitely legit. And, the fact that some of these symbols are where they are would lend credit to at least they know what the value of these buildings are. Just not entirely clear how much experience these people have.
All right.
Koza.
I think Koza would have, after he saw like the first couple of people splinter off, he would have realized that, we're not beholden to stay with the group. So he would have splintered off, probably wandered to like the town square just to see what there was to offer.
Okay. There is no town square. There is a central market that kind of hugs the shore in the center of town.
Yeah, they'll probably spend some time around there.
Okay. Well, you definitely immediately get the smell of fish awashes you. The closer you get to shore. It's kind of hard to get away from the smell of fish everywhere here. Some places are a little more fainter than others, but the shore, it's very fishy at the shore. This doesn't necessarily turn you off, as you like fish. Fish is good. Tasty. You do see a couple of fishmongers that kind of look at you, and by the way, you are the tallest person in town. There is not a single. There is not a single. No, I think Firbolgs are taller than Dragonborn.
No, that's what I'm saying.
No, I think Dragonborn are like slightly taller.
Okay.
I think it depends.
Yeah, sorry, I'm pretty sure that Koza's the tallest of your group, which means that you dwarf everybody in town. So you're like this huge, hulking, shambling mound of fur and fuzz and leaves and dreadlock hair, and with your big giant moon glaive, and just kind of like this huge presence in town. Everybody seems to part ways whenever you get close. And when you make your way over to the marketplace with the fishmongers and the like, everyone just kind of shuts up when you get there. And they're not really like... It's not like, you hear the clink of forks on plates and stuff. But, people kind of look at you and then kind of whisper to each other like, whoa, that's a big guy right there.
Yeah, he'd probably just mill about the town square. Kind of both watching the crowd and seeing what there is to offer.
Well, as you kind of, like I said, there's no town square, but as you pass in front of these stalls of fisheries, and there's people selling oysters and clams, there's people selling homemade candles and things like that. It's right about that time that Koza, as you're kind of looking at everybody look at you, you hear this voice behind you. It's kind of a high-pitched child's voice. It's like, "Are you the Konkin?"
Am I the what?
Are you the Konkin? And you turn around and you see this little freckled, little halfling girl with like blazing red hair pulled tight into a couple of side ponytails. And she's just got this big giant mouth of freshly dropped adult teeth. And she's standing up on this box like a crate, which she's still only about 3 feet tall at this point. And she's looking way up at you, and you have to kind of like you almost feel like you were gonna step on her. You're looking straight down at the bottom of your legs where you see her, and she's like, "The Konkin, it's a forest spirit. It's been known to visit us from time to time. They say he's a wise old man, a huge elephant relative. They say that he comes and brings us gifts, but we haven't seen him for some time. Are you him? Are you the Konkin?"
I can't say that I am, little one, though I do hail from the forest.
Oh, well, I hope he visits us soon. It'd be nice to get sweets at the end of the year every now and again. Do you have any sweets? And she gets just a little bit cuter to you.
Let me see. And I'm gonna pretend like I'm thumbing through my pockets when I'm just gonna cast Goodberry in my hand and put some good berries in her hand.
Okay, it's like she's holding an orange. They're huge in her hand. She is this tiny, tiny little girl. And she kind of holds it and she's like, "Wow, it smells sweet." And she buries her face in it, and she's just got this like deep fuchsia magenta berry juice that like explodes onto her face. It doesn't look like blood. It looks too fluorescent for it to be blood. But it just kind of explodes on her face and drips down her chin, and she's like, "It's delicious. Thank you, Konkin." And she's gonna kind of toddle away and she's got like 3 or 4 of her little friends that are in the street, and she's got one of these good berries in each hand, and she's like, "Look what he gave me. It tastes delicious." And they're just gonna kind of like giggle to themselves and totter away.
Yeah, that won't come back to bite you in the ass later.
Well, that's their parents' problem.
There you go.
What? They each get a hit point.
I think after that, Koza will find a wall of a building at the edge of the market, and I'm gonna cast Summon Animal, and
Okay.
I'm gonna conjure Chonky Boy.
Whoosh.
And just
These
start kind of
vines
playing with him.
curl. Yeah, these vines curl up the side of this building and form an archway. And as soon as the archway is complete, it glows green in the middle, and all of it drops into a pile of dead leaves. And through that opening jogs a fey-like creature of pure white light, and that white light settles into the fluffy, chunky fur of your husky-looking fey companion, Chunky Boy. And he's kind of he's got fey features. His ears are a little pointier than a typical husky. His snout is a little pointier too. He's got a glow about the inside of his eyes. But his markings are all very husky-like, and he's got a little bit of gold flecks in his fur. He just kind of like nuzzles under your hand, kind of looks up at you, "Hey, how you been?" Kind of a look.
I'm just gonna spend the majority of my day just kind of meandering throughout town with Chonky Boy at my hip.
Yeah, I'll say that it's not too long after you summon Chonky Boy and you're wandering through town that you kind of get some people following you. They seem harmless. They seem curious. Definitely the group of kids that you encountered earlier are kind of trailing behind you, and it's funny as you kind of look behind you to catch sight of who's behind you. You just see like a tight group of people just kind of scatter real quick. Not that they're trying to run away, but they're trying to look obvious. They're trying not to look obvious. And then you turn around, you can hear them kind of congregate again, and and continue following you. A couple of the kids that come up, they want to pet Chonky Boy, and that's kind of how your day goes. I will also say that you wandering around, go ahead and give me a investigation check just to see if maybe you have the same as Baranor.
Investigation. All right, that's not bad.
That's not bad at all. You don't have the layout of the town quite nailed down the way Baranor does, but I would say that you definitely have a feeling for the marketplace and the shoreline, as far as where everything is. You know, if you want to grab something to eat, where that is, where it looks like some of the better fishmongers were. So yeah, you have a better feel for how Hystael is laid out. It's not a huge town. You feel like you could probably walk from one end to the other, and mind you, it's like if you were to take it's almost like you were to take the shape of an eyeball and lay it over the edge of a lake. It's cut in half in that way, and it kind of like, it's almost like a crescent moon that hugs this side of Ryebank Lake. And you feel like you probably walk from one extreme end to the other in about maybe 20 minutes.
All right. Well, if once I find everything there is to offer in Hystael, I'll probably try to find at least one other member of the group.
Yeah, you eventually bump into Kravish and Maven, who have gathered Baranor and Axton, who kind of coupled along the streets. You kind of all sort of meet in the market right next to the shore where kind of Koza was, and you see that Koza has garnered something of a crowd around him, although now that there's more of you, it looks like they're dispersing and not making themselves that ingratiated into your space.
Oh, you made some friends.
Yeah, it seems so. Or rather, Chalky Boy made some friends.
Hi, Chunky.
Yeah, Chunky's gonna lick your hands and jump up and try to lick your face, although you're a little too tall for him, Kravish.
Yeah. All right, so everybody feel like probably by that time we may have gone back and gotten her headdress.
Yeah, it's ready to go. It fits rather nice. It looks really fancy, especially with the fact that you're kind of wearing like a cross-stitch vest that has been thoroughly cleaned and repaired. It's not nearly as dirty and gross as it was. This headdress is like super, super fancy looking. It won't impede your movement or your vision really at all. But it's very nice.
It's a pity.
Ooh, yeah, that's real nice. I like that thing.
Just so you know, I spent like 20 minutes trying to figure this out. My Google history is ridiculous at this point.
You're upsetting the algorithm.
I am.
Yeah, but that's pretty much what it looks like. It's got kind of silver thread that, or not silver thread. It's got kind of threads of clear crystals that sort of tumble down between your eyes and on the sides of your temple and things like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Make sure we wear that tomorrow when we meet the mayor.
Yeah?
Help establish dominance.
Okay. Whatever you say.
He's trying to corrupt you with his fashion senses.
I mean, it might work eventually. We'll see how that goes.
Well, is there anything anybody else would like to do in town?
Oh, I mean,
I think I'm good for the day.
We're coming back tomorrow anyway to meet with the mayor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
Do we need to pay up for the horses to keep them there? I don't think
You
the
already took
horses.
care of that.
Okay.
Would you say who took care of that?
I did.
Okay. When did you do that?
I'm like,
We did. I thought we already took care of that when we got back in.
Well, you haven't been home in like a month.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's what I'm like. Do we need to pay
Did not.
pay up to keep them, stable or whatever?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'll tally that up. I'm not gonna be nickel and diming you though.
I'm like, if I remember correctly, they can't make it up to the keep because of the stairs.
I mean, the stairs is an obstacle, for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Services. That's not on services. So I will instead levy a quality of life lifestyle expense, and we'll just call it 1 silver per horse per day. I believe there are 6 horses. I believe everybody got themselves a horse now.
Of course.
So it's
Does
6
Koza-
times
does
30.
Does Koza have a horse?
Of course he does. It's a big one. Very
Oh, yeah,
large
okay.
horse.
Okay, I just
Horse.
he usually also turns into a horse, so I didn't know if he actually got one.
Well, that was when I didn't have a horse.
Yeah, true. We
Yeah.
also have our cart somewhere.
No, you don't.
No, we
We don't?
don't. The cart got lost in the snow.
Oh, that's right.
It didn't get
No, it
lost
got-
in the
it
snow.
lost-
It got lost in the Fey.
Feywild, yeah.
Oh, that's
Oh
right.
no,
Yeah. Yeah.
that poor horse.
What?
Well, it wasn't a horse. It was just the cart.
Yeah, the cart
Oh.
got it broke a wheel or two, and then if I
And then the
remember
Feywild ate it.
yeah,
It reclaimed
So we're-
it.
we're in
Was
the
there
market
anything
for.
on the cart?
Oh yeah, there was
we-
stuff on the
we-
cart.
I
shit.
think we emptied the bag of holding enough to get stuff. I can't remember.
I think we
You
did.
left a couple bales of hay. You left some wheat. You left some jerky. Mostly things that the animals probably have eaten.
Yeah.
You left a couple of extra bedrolls, some firewood, kind of things that you would need while on the road. And that got reclamated by the Feywild. You guys just kind of left it there.
All right, we're in the market for a new wagon at some point. New cart.
So yeah, it's 180 silver or 18 gold for the month that they have been boarded up.
We'll make sure
We're not
that comes
boarded
out of party. Have that come out of party funds.
Okay. I think Yuno has that, correct?
That's correct. So I'll just
All
make
right.
a note.
Yeah, I'll have him remove 18 gold, and that's 18 gold for what is due to today.
Okay. Yeah, and we can't really take them back up to the keep with us right now.
You know what I'll do? I will say that being that your horses have been here so long, they've met you, the stable hands and the people that own the livery, really. And the fact that you have established yourself as the owner of the nearby keep on the mountain, which, by the way, if you look back up towards the mountains, you can just barely see Stonehelm Keep. It looks like the mountains form kind of a letter V with Stonehelm Keep kind of right between it, to the point where you can mostly see the guard tower, and you can kind of see the towers of the keep behind it. And they're going to give you a better rate, being that you're going to be a semi-permanent citizen here. So they're going to give this to you at a bulk rate. If you want to pay for a number of months in advance, they'll give you half price off if you want to pay that now.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're done with that.
Yeah.
So, let's see, 18, we'll say 4 months worth, 18 times 4.
We're not joining a homeowners association, though.
No.
Well,
What about a timeshare? You want to go in on that?
No timeshare, no HOA, nothing like that. No.
But you'll get a free lunch.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no Super Saver Club.
No.
All right, if you pay 36 gold up front, it'll cover 4 months of care.
Perfect.
All right, 36 it is.
All right, 36 plus 18. I will write that to now so I don't forget. Because I will forget.
We'll join the neighborhood watch. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah, minus 54 gold. All right. Okay.
To pay up all the arrears from the stabling as well as payment up front for the next several months.
Right. Okay. Well, what would you guys like to do with the rest of your day?
Well, I'm kind of, after all we've been through here, I'm kind of okay being a little bit of a lazy slug for a couple of days.
I think Koza would look for a place to gather supplies for like a big feast at the end of the night.
Okay. Well, there's lots of fish for sale.
Who has the party fund as of
That
right
would be
now?
Okay.
Is the holder of the purse strings.
Yeah, and I just wrote him about 54 gold for 4 months of stable fees. If you want to talk about enough, let's see here, enough food. Oh, we could do a banquet. Okay. A big party, it would be 10 gold per person.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 60 gold, and you'll have enough materials to outfit the kitchens to throw a huge feast.
All right.
Breads, like expensive breads, good cheeses,
I feel like we've earned it.
Yeah. And, real fresh, exotic vegetables, and a plethora of roasted bird and beef and pork and all manner of meats. And it's not only a feast, but it's also a gourmet feast. That's a pretty 10 gold a piece is pretty steep. So you're buying yourself a high quality amount of food.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll put 60 against the party fund as well. Okay.
All right.
You have secured a banquet feast.
And then after that, I'll probably make my way back to Stonehelm Keep.
Okay. Well, anybody else got anything they want to throw out there?
I don't.
Okay.
I think I'm good too.
All right. You guys all kind of... Go ahead.
I'll go back to my workshop and try to work on some more things until we have our feast or banquet tonight.
Okay. You guys all kind of group back together, and after Koza, kind of makes his way up and down the shoreline, securing fish and chicken and vegetables and fruits and desserts, kind of all gather back at the main road out of town, where you pass the signpost, one leading towards Hystael, one leading back up to Stonehelm Keep, looking forward to a lavish meal with good friends at a particularly good time in everyone's life. And that's where we're going to leave the session.
All right.
Feel good episode.
Yeah. Nobody died. Nobody had a nightmare. Nobody felt icky inside.
Nobody suffered psychological trauma. Psychological trauma inflicted.
At least nothing that can be, nothing that really needs to be written home about. But that was a lot of fun.
Or mirrored home about now.
Yeah.
Mirrored about.
Yeah, that was really fun role-playing your parents. Not for nothing, Corey. That was fun.
Your parents seem like wonderful people, and I can't wait to meet them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we're going to have to go meet them.
Oh, yeah. They'll be really surprised in you, Maven.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Like bad
No.
surprise or like
Now, you have a girlfriend?
All right, folks.
we're just friends.
So we are going to be, unfortunately, going to be skipping the 9th. That is going to be a down week for us. I have to be away for business. Noah has to be out of town for business, and we just won't be there. So we're looking at the 23rd of March as the next week after that. And what's that?
If I remember Christoph's schedule correctly, I think the 9th she would miss, but the 23rd maybe not.
Okay.
The thing is that I bid for a new schedule.
Oh, that's right.
So there's a good possibility, very good possibility. I have pretty good seniority at work at this point.
Ooh,
That
nice.
I won't be missing any in the future because I will be working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah,
Yay.
nice for me.
That's cool.
That's awesome. That's great to hear.
After I swan dived into the abyss,
Everyone's got to pay their dues, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Alrighty. Well, that was fun, guys. Thanks for showing up, and we will see everybody here on the 23rd.
It's so long.
That's so
I know
far
it's too
away.
long.
It's a whole month, man.
Minus
We'll
2
go
days.
through it.
I'm gonna.
We've been here before. But,
I know.
yeah. Well, have a good month off, everybody, and we will see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.